Shalom, shalom, remnant, and shalom, shalom to the house of Israel, the elect, chosen, called out, and those that remain faithful to the testimony, the witness, the truth, the Torah of Yahushua until the end. This is Sibaya coming with another rebuke. Jediah, mind tricks, part never ending, because he's full of mind tricks. And this is going to be a fact check series. Like I said, I'm going to stay on him as he continues to set up a false report, a stage for a future accusation of things that he believes that he's gathered and collected against me. Now, those of you that's watching this, you've already watched my last rebuke on him about blaming these so-called witches for his sickness and disease and saying that these people have the power of language through the Hebrew language by practicing Kabbalah, and that he got proof and evidence of a witch in Israel and elders that teach and practice Kabbalah. Now, if I was just to show you this picture by itself, what would you say? Jedi is teaching witchcraft. He's got pictures of what they call the tree of life. I'm going to presume and tell you, no, it's the tree of Satan. It's the tree of knowledge of good and evil. I made that up. He's making it up. And all you see is a picture of him showing a picture of something. And he calls himself trying to explain what this is. And I could set this up as an accusation saying Kabbalah, witchcraft and non-messianics in Israel. That's the title of his rebuke against elders and teachers in Israel. Once again, he don't want to mention names, but I know who he's talking about, as I can see that he's repeating my talking points. At the end, when he's in his feelings, he'll go for the lowest blow ever, right? And say something about, what did he say? My blood, what did he say? My chicken blood seances. Okay, you really want to go with Yamima's testimony? Okay. You ain't seen my hands on no blood. Chicken blood seances, right? That's how long he's gonna go. He's gonna bring up homosexuality because I call him a homosexual, and that he practices pornography, and that it is homosexual when men watch other men do stuff like that. It is very homosexual and effeminate when men draw pictures of themselves as Messiah on the cross. Because I don't know if y'all know that his image of Yahushua is the picture of what he wishes his body looked like. That's very homosexual and is very man worship at the end of the day. And I'll continue to show. I'm not going to prove everything here. I'm not going to prove everything here, y'all. I'm just going to fact check him. I'm going to stay on his heels. So when I go and do what it is that I do, teach what it is that I teach on the name of Yah, I already covered this because I don't teach Kabbalah. But you could possibly, if someone has stolen a lesson that I taught that was not recorded, that I skipped through, and I put up a picture of this tree. It doesn't belong to Kabbalah. They use it, right, in Kabbalah. And I'm not teaching to do anything with this, am I, y'all? Put it up real quick, just like he put it up, to explain something about it. But what he's explaining is he's presuming something. I'm explaining that they are trying to take that which is in Torah and create a formula and a science out of it and use it for power. Now, I've already declared, go back to the last video, what I teach and what I don't teach and what I believe. And so once again, I say that any accusation that he thinks that he got against me would be a false accusation, and an accusation from a mad African Congolese woman named Yamima, right, that practices witchcraft herself. And she's mad at me because she got kicked out of the assembly for trying to seduce a married brother here and convince him that he should divorce his wife. And so if you want to see the judgment of the person that he's getting, that I did the blood chicken sacrifice, right, seance, that would be Yamima from Africa, from the Congo. And I got a judgment on her on my video about her evil, wicked, nasty behavior. And so seductress behavior, dressing naked in front of our men's, showing all her body parts, right? And so she removed herself from my ministry. Let's put it like that. She removed herself from my ministry, and then she went on a witch hunt trying to destroy my character by lying. And if you hear her testimony, which is online, you can go and hear it at that other witch's, what's her name? Lydia Lioness. She has this woman doing a whole interview, called herself revealing me. And it doesn't make sense because her testimony is all, well, I didn't see this. I just presume it. Y'all showed me in the vision that this is really what it is, even though I didn't see it, right? Stuff like that. Like that stuff will be stricken down because it's a false witness. It's a completely false witness. You can't speak something that you didn't see or hear. So if I was just to show you this picture, you would say Jedi is teaching Kabbalah. And all he's trying to do is educate y'all on what he believes Kabbalah is, right? But we're going to fact check him. Is he really educating you? Now, before I go any further in explaining something, because what I'm about to show you here, I never even taught. Once again, did I teach on this tree? You did see me put up a picture of it though, right? And I skipped down to do what? Just to explain it real quick and said, I'm not going to go into it right now. Everything that I'm about to show you is sciences of what they're using from Yah, but I don't teach this. Not what I taught. Not what I taught. Now, he talks about these elders that are in Israel that use sex magic and all this other stuff. Whatever. Now, when he talks about the elders that is in Israel, let me say it right again. I said it again. You cannot judge me for anything that anybody else taught in my family, right? You cannot condemn me for something that an elder that I was under or my father taught 30 years ago in his ministry. You cannot condemn the child for the sins of the parents. Now, then I would ask you prove that he taught sin, Kabbalah, witchcraft. Now, I don't agree. I said it before. I don't care who my teacher is. Ultimately, when y'all call me by the Spirit, it's Yah that taught me the truth of his word. And we, as servants of Yah, must rightly divide the word of truth, rightly divided. And so what's happening here is that you got what he want to talk about, milk, right? Milk. This guy, this breast sucker, y'all, is not sucking the milk of Yah's word or the Holy Spirit. He is sucking the breast of demons. And I'm going to prove you that what he does is he twists and perverts the word of Yah to his own understanding. That he'll take an actual phrase in the Torah and do what the Pharisees do. Make it mean what he wants it to mean. And where did you get that from? Right? He'll take one word and expound on a word and take it out of the context of what was written. So he does this here with this word Kabbalah. So I'm going to show you how he is manipulating the word of Yah. But to cover himself, because he knows that I know what I'm talking about, that the things that people teach in Kabbalah, whatever they think they teaching or doing or practicing, they took a concept, a principle from the Torah. He knows this. And so I teach Torah. I don't teach Kabbalah. I don't practice Kabbalah. So I've already made my declaration, but I'm going to make it again. By no means does this prophet, this servant of Yah, practice, teach, meditate on, teach the sciences of, teach anyone to do anything with it at all. I do not teach that there is power in a language. There is power in the tongue, but the tongue is the end, the shores, the end of the matter from what comes out the heart. Power is activated from the heart. That's what I teach. And that's what Yahushua teaches. This thing about there's power in a language, I didn't say the tongue, in a language is not Torah at all. Yahushua didn't teach it, nor did Moshe or the prophets teach it. They taught there's power in the tongue. And that is a principle of this world, good or evil, doesn't matter. There's power in the tongue, because what comes out of your mouth should be what's going on in your heart. So that is a science of this world. It's not good, it's not evil. What makes it good or evil is what comes out of your tongue. The intentions of your heart. That's what makes something good or evil, right? And so I don't teach that. Anyone that teaches that there is more power in speaking Hebrew versus saying something in English is a lie. That your prayers are heard more clearly. They bust through the heavens more straight, right? Or they're more righteous prayers because I said it in Hebrew versus English. That's against the whole New Testament teaching when we talk about what good is it if you speak in an unknown tongue, right? That nobody is like you speaking to Elohim, right? But he's making a joke. He's not saying you really speaking to Elohim. He said you edifying yourself. You just showing off. That's what he does here. You just showing off to make it look like you can speak in tongue, but there's no understanding. There's no understanding. You sit, Jediah prays like this. He's so busy trying to speak in another tongue to prove his Hebrew language that he's sitting there thinking every 3 seconds for a word. Y'all heard him say these words, right? The hukmah, the bina, right? I'm going to show you that the very thing that he's teaching you to watch out for, that he says in his own prayer. I'm going to show you that he actually repeats these sephirot, these principles in the prayer. Now, if I was to go after him saying these things, which I never went after him saying these things, I just have a problem with him saying them when the people don't even understand what he's saying. Like, you got to think about it like that. No, it's coming from the heart. When somebody got to sit there and be like, oh, let me find a good Hebrew word and make my prayer sound good. Messiah taught against this. Now, once again, those of you that is listening to me, go back. I'm going to put all my judgments on Jediah. Where is all of this starting from? Let's look at the foundation and the root of his hatred, so-called forgiveness against me. Right? Number one, he like my cousin. I already explained this. He was a Muslim, right? And he grew up with my cousin. I didn't know, I knew his face. I was like, where do I know this guy? My brother stuck a banana in his mouth when they spent the night. like 30 some years ago. And I remember my brother told me that he woke up and thought, and he was like, OJ, remember OJ? That's my brother. He knew that before I knew it. He's family. He know my whole family, y'all. And this elder he talking about, that's my daddy. He knows him. He doesn't want to mention him just yet. He's going to use that as the last card if he can't find something on me. He's waiting to see me bring out the teacher of the name. Y'all hoping I put this little tree of life up that he calls the tree of knowledge of good and evil that he just made up out of nowhere. Just made that up, right? And he goes into the book and uses this word Kabbalah, Zechenim, which is a compound word. And just because the word is Kabbalah, coming from the word Kabbalah, Kabbalah, we're going to go into that. That means that is witchcraft. And if you Google it, we're going to Google everything he Googled up, right? He's going to Google it up. This is called fact check. And I'm going to show you that Jediah, once again, be speaking on things he does not know what he's talking about, right? And he's playing on your ignorance. Now, before I go into what I got to say, I'm going to declare it again. I do not teach that there's no power in any word outside of the name of Yahweh and his son, Yahushua, that all power, all authority, all dominion, all glory, all rule was healing, all of it was given underneath that name and that name alone. That's what I teach, and I'm standing by it. That's what we say in our prayers, not repetitiously. We say hallelujah, and that's it, right? So that's what I teach. That's what we do. But all that you get understanding, right? Because there is a principle in Torah that Yahushua taught about prayer. And we're going to learn a little bit of it today. And this spy that is trying to say that I taught Kabbalah. What I'm about to show you, I never taught. I never taught this yet. I never taught. This is going to be the first time I mention it. First time I mention it. And then I want him to prove that what I said is witchcraft. I want him to prove that this geometrical diagram is witchcraft, just because somebody showed it and explained something about it. Now, once again, I said again, my father, over 35 years ago, or something around that time, he grew up in a lot of knowledges. My father grew up in the Christian church, and once he rebelled and went to seminary school, he stopped seminary school because he realized that they was teaching lies. He went out to search for the truth himself, and he came into what? Black Africanism, right? And he got into the Yoruba religion, and he went to Nigeria and learned straight from the Baba Orishas himself. He didn't get no watered down stuff. And he learned and practiced voodoo from Africa. He learned a lot from that. And then he went through trying to understand Islam, right? He didn't practice that. He learned of it. And then he came through learning the Zohar, Urantia. I used to have all these books, the Keys of Solomon, not Urantia, but the other one, OWASP, and all of these, the Zohar, the Kabbalah, all this stuff. Yeah, my power of manifestation, right? So above, so below, within, without, what comes around goes around, all of these sciences, right? My father studied these things. He did. I was just a child. But now I'm a child, I'm a grown up, right? And in those things, when you start to learn and understand these things, then when you come to the word of Yah, you can make a distinction. What's truth? What's a lie? What's science? And what's the real power of Yah? What is the word of righteousness and the acts of righteousness versus the acts of the world? That's where I come in, y'all. That's where I come in. All right. So I'm not striving for higher knowledge. I'm striving for righteousness. And righteousness, I'm going to show you the principles of righteousness. And you tell me if it's the tree of life or the tree of good and evil. Now, I'm going to give y'all a short, right? I can't, because this is not the lesson. You're not going to spring it out of me before time, but I say it again. What I'm about to say here, I never taught. Never taught. I skipped past it, said, nah, I don't think y'all need to understand this just yet, but let me just speak it real quick so y'all can understand what the world is trying to do with the knowledge of Yah. Okay? So give me 1 second. Okay, so I'm back on his page. Kabbalah, witchcraft, and non-messianics in Israel. All right. So I wanted to say, go back. I'm going to post up every judgment I did against him. And it started with the situation with Malcolm Norwood, right? He wanted to get a hold of Malcolm Norwood and favor her and everything. And he supported her coming to Israel to me, wrote me a letter. You are a blessed thing in Israel. Thank you, Yah, for you as a servant of Yah. He even gave Malcolm the first $100 to help her get her ticket to come to Israel and get some healing from me and get some rest. And so in those conversations, he was looking me up. I didn't really know who he was. I knew he was some teacher in Israel that I've seen some lessons that he taught some blasphemy, right? And some false doctrines, right? He was teaching a lot of witchcraft back in the day. He pulled it all down, so y'all can't judge him, but I got a few. Don't worry, I got a few, just enough to show you that I'm not giving a false report. He knows that. And he wants you not to listen to me before I do it. It's okay. Those that will hear will hear. But there's been only accusations. So from that, I had to placate him on behalf of Malcolm's piece because Malcolm was upset. That's something he did. He used her words and twisted them for some pornography type speech in a video to use against Holter. And she was mad because he didn't understand what she was saying, just like he don't understand Torah. And he perverted her words and twisted it to make it look like she was saying that she was doing some kind of perversion of homosexualities and using sticks. And that's not what she was saying. Once he hears sex, his ears like perk up. And he misunderstood everything she was saying. She was mad. I told her, let it go. So I had to keep peace with him until I said, I got a judgment against him. Then my judgment finally came out. It wasn't personal. He started to follow, he sent his wife to do a spy on, find out information about me. He did. He found out some information about me, and he decided never to mention my name or really go after me because he found out that I was long lost family. Go back, I'll post that up. That he knew me and from when I was a teenager, and my brother, he'd been in my house, my grandmother's house. He knows my father, all of that. But back then he was a Muslim. Then he came into Christianity. My aunt told me about it, right? Came into Christianity, but and then he became a non-messianic. This is where he got the version of Yehovah from, or Yehovah comes from the non-messianic camps. Nobody else says Yehovah except the non-messianic camps. You might find one or two that came out and switched over. Non-messianic camps from New York City, he came out of with the name Yehovah. But none of the non-messianic camps will deny that his name is Yahweh. So he carried both names until he decided to get this book started, where he started making money. He had to make a decision. He came out the non-messianics and started to believe in testimony of Yahushua. He got his jaw busted, but I'm over here gonna bust his other jaw, right? For lying on a servant of Yah. You lie on a servant of Yah, you lying on Messiah. And he's twisting Messiah's words and teachings, right? And so now he became a messianic, but he joined the camps, y'all. Just because he cleaned up, y'all, and he speak nice and soft, he's coming from the ABC 123 One West camps. He got kicked out because there was a report of him beating his wife from the assembly that he was underneath, forcing her to accept multiple marriage. Whatever assembly he was under, that's the report. I'm gonna prove it to you that he's all in alignment with them, all them nasty, dumb, foul-mouthed Negroes. But he got rejected from them. Okay, so now me knowing all of this, I didn't go after nothing personal. I went after his false doctrine because he did a teaching to try to undermine the come out message that Yah sent me to teach. And he was speaking about me. His wife went up there and said, go on Google, look their names up, right? Look their names up, find out all the information you can about them. And when she went on Google and everything to look me up, she didn't find anything except that I lived in Israel, and she found out that Jedi might have been related to me, not by blood, but by association, right? And so now they accuse me of wanting him, of me trying to be his second wife. So then it was an accusation that I was trying to come on to him, and I proved that to be a lie. Then he found a rumor all the way in Israel that I'm an ex-lesbian, and I said that that's not true, right? I never walked my life as an outward lesbian, though I admitted that in my wickedness, in the days that I was dancing and performing and doing all of that wickedness in the world, right? I put my toe out there, so some oats, got introduced to some really abominable behaviors, and I tried a lot, tried some things. But I never was a homosexual lesbian like that. I always dated men. I dated men. So he tried to throw that out to me, and you can see that I come after him with that. And then I do, you can go back, I'm gonna post it, my lecture on the kingdom of heaven, which is no rapture, no wings. And I feature him and Deborah Washburn for teaching a false doctrine that we was going to poof up. We was gonna grow wings and we were gonna poof up in the clouds. The rapture theory, which he still holds on to. And so I exposed him for that lie, and he never addressed it. Ever since then, I've been on his number one mark. I gotta get that witch. I gotta get that Jezebel. I gotta get that hoe. I gotta get that woman. I gotta get that Eve, right? And he's been trying to get me ever since. While getting me, him and Jonathan, his no longer partner, right-hand man, used to watch all my videos to see if they can find me saying anything wrong, and they never could. They never could find me saying anything wrong. What Jonathan discovered is that I had a lot of knowledge and a lot of truth, but Jonathan couldn't make sense of the fact that how did I have all this knowledge and truth, but I'm wicked? So he said, well, eventually I'm going to blaspheme the word because I'm a woman and I'm out of order. That's all he had. I just had, because I had a vagina between my legs, I must want to eventually blaspheme the word of Yah. And every time he couldn't get me, he would snickle underneath his breath, Talia, that Jezebel. Now I'm Talia the witch because Yamima come and show him what? Her holding bloody chickens, her slaughtering chickens, right? Underneath my ministry. I wasn't there because we slaughter our own chickens for meat because the chickens slaughterhouse is unclean here. So now I'm doing chicken blood sacrifices. That's African voodoo, never did it. That anyone that says that is coming from an African mind, that would be Yamima, right? It says, I'm a witch. All right. So he's discovered, like, man, I know her daddy. He got a book called The Ancient Mysteries of Melchizedek. Have I ever promoted my father's book? Did y'all know about it? Y'all didn't know about it. When did y'all find out about this book? From Honor and Humility. They brought it up, right? Not me. Never heard me speak about it. I don't even agree with some of the stuff in the book. I don't agree with it. That's why I don't promote it. My father wrote it. He's an elder, but I don't know. Ask him. Don't talk to me about it. Right? You're not going to set my teeth on edge because he ate sour grapes. But what I will say to this is that Moshe himself, what does the word say about Moshe? As he wants to pull up, perhaps he may one day when he figured out he ain't got nothing against me, he'll leak me to my father's teachings over 35 years ago. Let me show you about Moshe. So yes, I understand. Yah has given me some knowledge and understanding in a lot of ways. Some of Egyptology, I don't practice none of that. Something about voodoo, about the sciences, about manifestation, about this. I got some understanding. Something about Kabbalah, I got some understanding, but I don't practice any of that. Right? And so that would make me qualified to be able to go into the word and make a clear distinction between what is truth and what is not, what is a lie and what is false, what is of Yah and what is stolen and perverted from Yah's word. And so Jedi did a botched up job trying to paint a picture on me. Once again, this man can't color. So I'm going to show you this. We in Acts 7. And Acts 7 is repeating the story of Moshe, right? All right. So he goes and tells the story about Moshe, the deliverer. Moshe was prophesied to be the Messiah, the deliverer, and the judge of Israel before he was born. That means he was called by Yah. But he wasn't sent yet, and he wasn't anointed. But Moshe himself went before Yah, and Yah used Moshe for a lot of reasons, just like he used Paul. Paul was able to be used because his heart was sincere, but he didn't have knowledge and wisdom yet. And Paul went out there with the knowledge of Torah, oral, all of that, and thought he was doing good. But his heart was sincere. He just didn't know the difference between the truth and the lie. That's why Yah could use him. But Yah could use Paul because now he could speak to the lie about people using Torah wrongfully. Paul was the very person that he could actually use. And so Moshe was called. And so even though Moshe was called from the womb, why did Yah allow him to be brought up in Pharaoh's house? Why did Yah allow him to learn all the ways of the world? So let's see. In 17, but at the time of promise came close to which Elohim had sworn to Abraham, the people grew and multiplied in Egypt until there arose a different king who didn't know Joseph. The same took advantage of our race and mistreated our fathers and forced them to throw out their babies so that they wouldn't stay alive. And at the time Moses was born and was exceedingly handsome, he was nourished 3 months in his father's house. When he was thrown out, Pharaoh's daughter took him up and reared him as her own son. So that means he was raised in another man's religion house, right? But Yah had already called him. Moshe was instructed in all the wisdom of the Egyptians. What does that mean, that he was instructed in all the wisdom of Egypt? It means he knew all their magic, he knew all their sorcery, all their gods, all of their knowledge, all of their tree of lives, all their tree of darkness, whatever it is, whatever science is and magic, he was instructed in all of it. Moshe, your deliverer. He was mighty in words and works. He was mighty in words and works. But when he was 40 years old, it came into his heart to visit his brothers, the children of Israel, seeing one of them suffer wrong, he defended him and avenged him who was oppressed, striking the Egyptian. He supposed, he thought that his brothers understood that Elohim by his hand was giving them deliverance, but they didn't understand. And the day following, he appeared to them and they fought and urged them to be at peace again, saying, sirs, you are brothers. Why do you wrong one another? That's the same thing he tried to do to me, right? You think he could find something in my past? I was raised up in the knowledge of whatever, but I wasn't practicing any of it. And y'all called me. That's right. I'm not Moshe. Just my father is not Moshe. Not to come or anything like that, right? But y'all will do this for a servant so that they can know the difference, right? And he supposed that he was bringing them deliverance. Why? Because he was prophesied to be anointed, the deliverer, right? But he did his neighbor wrong, pushed him away. But he who did his neighbor wrong pushed him away, saying, who made you ruler and judge over us, right? They said that to Moshe from the beginning to the end, right? Because they knew that he grew up in Pharaoh's house, and they knew that he had practiced or he had knew the knowledge and the wisdom of all the Egyptians, Not only that, though y'all called him out of that situation, right? Moses fled at this saying and became a stranger in the land of Midian, where he became the father of two sons. Now, when he was in Midian, what was he practicing for the next 40 years? He was practicing Torah. He was practicing a form of Torah because Midian was one of the sons of Ishmael that had some of the covenant, but they were practicing the priesthood of Midian, of Jethro. His wife taught him the priesthood. So he had a mixture now of some Torah and some priesthood practices. And all her practices wasn't wrong because she knew about the covenant of circumcision. Where did Moshe learn that from? From the mountain? No, he learned it from his wife first. But did he have all the truths? No, but he was called, right? And he was sent. And now when y'all have revealed it all to him, though he was mighty in words and in works, he can now be very clear about the difference between the science of this world versus what y'all said, this is what you do. And this is what you don't do. And I tell you here that I am one on whatever level y'all put me at. It ain't the highest, but the level in which I stand straight, I am one like unto someone who is able, just like Moshe, to discern for you the difference. Let's get started. What's your accusation? What's your accusation? I said again, I practice nothing but Yehoshua and his Torah. But I'm going to show you some things today to show you that Jedi is an ignorant breast-sucking fool. All right. So let's go. Now I want to read something. That's his chat. This is his comments. He didn't take it off yet. Hallelujah, right? Carlos Young. Whoever that is, I don't know it. I didn't set no Carlos Young up, but hallelujah for Carlos Young having enough insight to question what he said. Though Carlos don't know who he talking about at the end of the day. Watch this. Carlos Young, 5 hours ago. Where did the Hebrew version of the writing of the apostles come from? Because he said something about the word Kabbalah, and you only gonna see it in the Greek, meaning traditions of our Zekanim, of our elders, the traditions of our elders. So he was like, if you didn't read it in the Hebrew, you would never see that this is Kabbalah. Messiah spoke against Kabbalah, right? That's what he's questioning. I'm gonna play this for you. Now, I don't agree with everything Carlos is saying, but his points are valid. Were they not written in Greek originally? No, they weren't. They actually was written in Hebrew, but the version that Jediah has, there's 2 Hebrew versions. The version that Jediah has is not the original Hebrew version. Jediah, the version he's reading from is a translation of Hebrew from the Greek, from the Aramaic, from the Hebrew. That means that I got 2 different versions. I don't have the other one on me now, it's in storage, but I got 2 different versions of the New Testament written in Hebrew. And if you read them, you will see that they some of the wording is different. Some of the wording is different. So Yahushua speaks in his context. You don't have to take one word and make a doctrine around it unless you show how this word is being used appropriately. So he says, this is what I've always been told. The origin of the New Testament is namely Greek. Also, is the idea that one creates with words not in line with scripture? Absolutely. What is he referring to? I'm going to show you. I told you that Jediah is riding me like a donkey. He wants to be all over. He's riding my behind, y'all. And he doesn't want to jump off. But I'm that donkey that's going to bust him in the mouth. Bust him in the, I'm the donkey that's speaking in the name of Yah. And so what he's doing, Jediah is going through all of my teachings. And if he thinks he says something, I said something that he could use, he's waiting to collect. But he actually is stealing a lot of what I'm saying. So I just said something in like 2 or 3 videos ago, talking about this idea of manifestation. What I said, abara kadaba, right? And it comes from a saying called, abracadabra comes from a principle saying, which abara, what I create, kadaba, is like what I will speak. In principle, magicians use it. It means nothing at the end of the day. So he's asking him, isn't this a principle in Torah? It absolutely is. It's a principle that they got from Torah. Now, it's not that they say, what I create is what I speak. That's nothing wrong with that. It's what you're speaking. That's the problem. Is what you speaking of Satan or of Yah? That's how you judge a matter, right? Every man is going to be judged for every word that proceeds out of his mouth. Why will man be judged for the words that proceed out of their mouth? Because every word that proceeds out your mouth, you are creating something, either in the unseen world or in the visible manifested world. That's why y'all's going to judge them, because they have power. Watch what he says here. He didn't say nothing about Hebrew, though. Just says the tongue. Do the scriptures not say that the power of life and death are in the tongue? Absolutely. The scripture teaches that the power of life and death is in the tongue. He didn't say language, though. The tongue. And when you see that, Yah is saying that out of the mouth, the heart is speaking. That when you listen to a man's words and discern them, because he can be a liar, discern his words and judge it rightfully, then you can find out what's going on in the man's heart. And is he speaking life, meaning the true word of Torah, or is he speaking death, a perverted version of the word? So, did the Most High not create the world with his words? Absolutely. Everybody is using the power that Yah gave to man to create, speak, right? It feels like a logical leap to call that witchcraft. Absolutely. It's a logical leap. He's leaping. Finally, what is the definitive difference between witchcraft, magic, and miracles? Exactly. Because what did he say here? He said, I think one needs a working definition of the difference to really have a discussion. Absolutely. Define this. Define it. Don't just use the word Kabbalah, show a little chart or some circles and 22 letters. Jediah, if that is your definition or picture of witchcraft, then you're guilty. You're guilty. You mentioned these 10, 12 Sephiroth. You didn't even go into what that say. Then you mentioned the 22 paths of the Hebrew word. Do I teach anything about 22 letters? All of those that's teaching the Aleph to the Tav wrongfully is teaching witchcraft. There's no power in doing anything with the Aleph to the Tav except for speaking correctly. The Aleph to the Tav means what? From the beginning to the end, and that's about time. Time. So when they talk about the 22 paths of the Aleph to the Tav, it ain't really got nothing to do with the letters. It's understanding the Et Elohim, the beginning, the Aleph and the Tav, meaning time. And creation, how creation was formed in and out of time from the beginning. He said, I spoke it in the beginning. The Aleph, see if it doesn't manifest in the end to the top, right? So above, so below. We're going to go into this, right? So yes, you do have to have a working definition, right? You just can't say Kabbalah. We have a term called Kabbalah Shabbat. Kabbalah Shabbat. Kabbalah means a receiving, a welcoming, a bringing in. Right? That's what it means. It's only an adjective. The word after it will tell you what it is. Kabbalah of itself means nothing. It just means you receive something from something. So when he said Kabbalah Zechanim, that means you had you received some knowledge from the elders. But Yahushua tells you what that was. He never said anything about trees of life. He never said anything about the Aleph Bet or anything like that. I'm going to show you what he said. We have a Kabbalah Shabbat. Oh my goodness, this is witchcraft. Kabbalah Shabbat, that means that we're receiving, bringing in the Shabbat. Right? All right. So he says, I think one needs a working definition, the difference to really have a discussion on this. The miracles that Messiah performed were accused of coming from Beelzebub. Absolutely. They didn't know how to make a distinction. What did he do at the end of the day, right? Messiah took some dirt from the ground. Imagine me doing that right now. That seems like some African voodoo, right? He's going to take some dry dirt from the ground, put it in his hand and spit on it. And mush it up in his hand and smack it on his eyes. Just smack it on his eyes. He said, do you see? That looked like magic. Why is that anything different than what them African witch doctors is doing in Africa? Okay. Were they not the same Pharisees you are saying are magicians? Absolutely. Absolutely. This brother is calling Jediah on his hypocrisy right now. So if the Pharisees basically accused Messiah of using the power of the devil, and Messiah said that we would do greater things than he, then where is the lie? Explain it. If you, Jediah, raised the man from the dead by just extending your arm, would people not call it magic? Isn't that what he was trying to do at the punch bowl? He went up there and put his arms up. He put his arms up, right? It said raise the dead. But nothing happened. What would we call that? A fake witch, a fake warlock. In the wicked world, they would stone you too. Not in Torah world, in the wicked world, you would get stoned for going to the graveyard, talking about you're going to raise the dead, and it didn't happen. That's a false prophet. That's a false prophet, y'all. So if the Pharisees basically accused Messiah of using the power of the devil, and Messiah said that he would do greater things, then where is the line? If you, Jediah, raise the man from the dead by just extending your arm, would people not call it magic? It seems like this discussion is in dire need of some good definitions. That's why I'm here. And less accusations. That's all he's talking. He's just got accusations, y'all. That's all this is. It's an accusation with a picture and a false definition, because we're going to read what he's reading. The proofs in this video are, from my point of very, very slick. Thank you, Carlos Young, for opening up your eyes that he is slick. He's a snake supplanter. He is a twister of the word. I'm going to show you the slickness of Jediah, though, but hardly definitive. That's been Jediah's teaching the whole time. Satan spoke of a tree. Absolutely. Eve ate from that tree, and Kabbalah has a tree in its cosmology. So are they the same? No, they're not. Jediah, you lying, and I'm gonna prove you lying. And he just made an accusation. Everybody in the Kabbalah says that this is something from the Torah called the tree of life. How people use it is distinctive, though. You're just gonna look at the picture and you're gonna find some other witchcraft, put a snake on it. That is not Kabbalah. That is not the image. That is not what it is. That is a made-up picture. Just gonna put a snake on it. Now you're gonna be like, see, use the devil, it's the tree of good knowledge, good and evil. That's a lie. You will never see anywhere any information that said this is the tree of the knowledge of Satan of good and evil. I'm going to repeat his word. I'm going to show you his words, though. He said, there's nothing in that picture graph that can bring you life. Well, we're going to look into it. He didn't define anything, right? He says, that's a stretch, family. Yes, he's stretched out. And when you stretch something out, you're twisting and distorting it. I really like to know the truth of the matter. Carlos Young, I'm going to try to reach out to you. But this video certainly isn't proving anything either way. You're absolutely right. Thank you for some wisdom and some knowledge and some discernment on this snake to let him know that people see you. I see you, but there are people that may not know that see is asking the question, what did he just say? Nothing. What did he just prove? Nothing. What is witchcraft? Not understanding. All right. So we're going to go to the video now. It's going to take me some time. All right. So now I'm going to skip past the first 40 minutes of his lesson as his queen, Hellboy's daughter, made sure she put the knot in one right there, real big, right there. Make sure you know she got a knot in her head, right? The horn, she went back to the one horn and not two. I mean, look at the lights, the halo over them, the lights. I mean, just come elaborate, just dressed in new clothes, the emblems of all of this. And so for the first half an hour, they selling, y'all. And the last half an hour, a whole hour of this 2-hour video, they're selling once again on the Shabbat. Please send tithes and offerings, alms and donations to Zealot. Got a new app, send some money. We don't ask for tithes and offerings on the Shabbat. We didn't do that in Old Testament, and we didn't do that in New Testament. That's Christian. That's Christian merchandising of the people, right? All right, so for the first 2 hours, I'm going to give me some time. So we're gonna skip through. He brings the whore's son to make some kind of judgment on somebody. Oh, yeah, on somebody about they're gonna be their words or whatever, and prove that he's teaching good Hebrew. Yeah, the boy is studying quick. He learning, right? He promised the boy, I'm gonna give you a spot. You go get up there and be a teacher. Go get some. What did the Torah teach about letting somebody new to the faith get up there and teach? that anybody that gets up there as a baby in this walk, as he claims everybody else has been in this walk for 10 years and still drinking milk, he goes and finds a milk sucker, just now finding the nipple, to get up there and teach a quick lesson, just because he's reading Hebrew quickly. And he's not doing a very good job at that. No, oh, there's righteousness in Hebrew. Okay, that gives him, when he speaks Hebrew, that gives him the maturity to get up there and teach a lesson and judge I don't know what. But this is against the New Testament. Y'all say anybody that do that is conceited. It's conceited. Who can't see the young man is conceited, right? He just be up there like this. And his mother looking proud, like, you my king, right? I'm gonna use your Jedi's ministry and lift me up as a queen. I'm gonna lift you up as a king, my son. That sounds like a Jezebel all the way. Who can't see that his whole ministry to become soft? It's like pretty now. It's faggotry, right? All right. So his son gets up there and reads some Hebrew. Don't know what that word is. Don't know what that word is. Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. So we're gonna skip. That was the first hour. All right. We go through 101. Let's play.
For of this sort, verse 6.
Oh, I already went out.
Oh, sweet God. I'll read it. Just right here.
Oh, okay. Verse 6. For of this sort are they which creep into houses.
They creep into your house.
And lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with diverse lusts.
Ever learning.
And
never learning. Go ahead.
And never able to come to the knowledge of
You got some people who come in the truth, been in the truth 10 years, 7 years, 8 years, and still talking about the same things they did when they first came in.
Deuteronomy 20.
All right, so he goes into this teaching, having a form of righteousness, right? But denying the power of the truth, right? Turn away from. He going into what I taught once again about this, right? This is what I taught to show you the difference, but it's okay. He's just quoting the word, right? But he's highly twisting it. He's reading some of these things. Okay, corrupted minds reprobate, right? Going into houses of silly women that's laden with lust, that would be her. And before her, he was creeping into what? Being a minister, trying to act like a minister, creeping into all kind of women's houses, looking for a second wife, somebody to fall in lust with him. Like I said, I'm not gonna read the letters. I got like 2 or 3 letters from women. Was like, I stayed with Jediah. He invited me to stay in his house. While I was in his house, he was trying to get me to be his second wife. When I rejected his approach on me, he started treating me nasty. This was the only whore that fell for it. Right? But I'm not going to read that. We know it's true, right? I know it's true. So now he wants to talk about a form of worship, but denying the power. And he's saying Kabbalah is a form of worship, denying the power. I would agree with that. The practice of the twisted version of Yah's truth is a form of worship. Anything that you practice, listen, you could do the 10 Commandments. You still could be denying the power. That's a form of worship, keeping the 10 Commandments and denying the power, right? That would be the ones that take no oil in their lamps. They're virgins. Y'all did not say that they witches. They're not witches, right? They can keep the commandments and they still deny the power, because what's that? Total repentance. In the name of who? Yahweh Yahushua. They got to be sealed in his name. All right. So I'm gonna skip down. Let's see. What do we got? We got
Prove, our color. I thought you knew that already. So who are you really trying to prove it to now? Now live it, walk it, be it. That's what we're trying to do. We're going to learn our language. We're going to be it. We're going to practice our culture. We're going to be it. We're not going to just talk about it. We're going to be about it. Hallelujah. So, having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof, right? That's what we want to talk about. When did it first happen? Let's go to the book of Genesis, chapter 3.
Genesis chapter 3. We know where he's going to, right? Okay. This is his premise.
Erase these notes here. We got any comments in the meantime?
Let's see.
I'm gonna cut some of this out, man. I'm just slow.
We have people that have been in the truth 10 years, 12 years, and they're still just on the milk. The milk is extremely important. And you can't feed a baby meat. So let's not get that confused. Milk is the foundation. The foundation should never be forgotten. Never. And then with milk, if you're skillful, you can create so many things out of that.
Now, according to the Bible, what's the milk of the word? He gonna make up his own definition what milk means. What's the milk of the word? According to the Torah, being a baby, the milk of the word is still talking about the foundations of Yahushua's death, burial, resurrection, baptism, laying on the hands, right? That's baby. That's the foundation of coming to this. You don't get into the door unless you accept all of that. That's foundation. That's very important. So then what would the meat mean? If the meat is not the testimony of Yahushua, that's called the elementary fundamental milk. And then y'all have something else called spoiled milk in the word, that it does nothing for righteousness, for the kingdom's sake, then spit it out. That there's things in this book that is not useful unto righteousness. That would be what? Multiple marriage. It's not even Torah. Stuff like that. So we got things in the word called spoiled milk. And then we have things in the word called milk. But he's going to make up his own definition what the milk is. Okay.
How many people like dishes made with cheese, butter?
I like cheese. I
things
like
of that,
butter.
whipped cream.
Whipped cream.
All of these
But
things
milk and
come
honey.
from milk. Ice cream. All of that is a byproduct of milk. So milk can even be eaten by adults as well. But if that's all you ever eat, and you never graduate to food and to meat.
So he says here that the milk of the word is people still talking about their Hebrews and Edom. That's not the milk of the word. That has nothing to do with the word. Nothing to do with the word. I mean, when they was talking about milk, the people already had that. They wasn't lost yet. No, that's identity pride. That's not has nothing to do with the word. And that's what he been teaching in and out, right? Edom this, Edom that, Edom this. The beginning of Jacob is the end of Edom. Edom is going, Edom this. Learn the language, learn the Hebrew. Go ahead.
And your growth is not just spiritually. Hallelujah.
Not growing spiritually.
So we don't want a form of godliness, but then deny the power thereof. Hallelujah.
In the word, a form of righteousness.
Bereshit chapter 3.
All right, family. We're in the book of Genesis. That's Bereshit in Hebrew, chapter 3, beginning at verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which Jehovah Elohim had made.
Right.
And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath Elohim said,
Elohim said,
Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden?
So he repeats the word of Yah, but denies the power thereof. He takes the word of Yah, but denies the power that Yah said in it. You will surely die. Having a form of godliness, he took the word of Yah, but stripped the power away from it. Yeah, Yah said this, but that ain't gonna happen. That's what's happening right
I
now.
don't have that. I'm gonna just wait for my lesson on the tree.
People are reading their word and denying the power thereof. And then they're heeding to the voice of the serpent in his place. Kabbalah, witchcraft, and non-messianics. Kabbalah, witchcraft, and non-messianics in Israel.
Verse 2. And the woman said unto the serpent,
Which lead captive
We may.
silly women. So now they start to try to seduce the sisters to get them to fall. seduce the sisters, seduce the women.
Wow.
Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof.
That would just dive into this whole bit, trying to seduce women. He got one though. He got a silly horse.
Of the fruit of the trees in the garden, but of the fruit of the trees which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim hath said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die.
So she repeats the word of Yah unto him that was originally told her. Go ahead.
And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die.
Ye shall not surely die. Go ahead.
For Elohim doth know that in the day that ye eat thereof, thine eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as Elohim, knowing good and evil.
So she thinks she want to know more. She's going to become wise. And she was already wise.
Dang.
So what is this saying here?
What is it saying?
Ever learning, but never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. The knowledge of the truth is if you do this, you're going to bring death. She already knew it and thinks she's going to learn something more than that. And so it is to this very day. Let's look at the Kabbalah.
So it is to this very day.
Hallelujah.
Let me show you this woman, what tree she ate.
You can
Look,
read some
he just gonna
comments.
imply this. This the mystery of the tree of the garden.
Kabbalah.
Kabbalah.
What is this? Do you know about anything about any of this stuff?
I don't.
Good.
Okay, good. So we're gonna skip any comment that she could make. She don't know nothing about it. Yet she was the witness to say, yeah, I saw some witnesses that somebody's teaching witchcraft. Kabbalah. Do you know anything about this? Well, I'm gonna ask Jediah, outside of what you just read, what do you know about it? Okay, he read that it came from the Zohar, but then he found out that the principles are coming from Torah. And he's learning this as he goes to try to make a sticking case. He thinks that this is what I teach. It's not. I will show you though that Yehoshua teaches it. Wait a minute. See, study to show yourself approved, that a workman be not made ashamed, rightfully dividing the word of the truth. All right, so he pulls up this picture of the tree, and this is most likely what Yamima said I'm teaching. No, it's not. I recognize the 12 attributes of Yah's name, the 12 attributes that's written all through Torah, as in Yahweh Zibaot, Yahweh Rofecha, our healer, Yahweh Sitkenu, our righteousness, Yahweh El Elyon, Yahweh the Most High, Yahweh Roi, right? Our seer, right? All of that. Yahweh our shepherd, Yahweh Yireh, our provider, Yahweh Nitzak, our victory. Yah, these are all Yah's names and an attribute. It's not an angel. It's not a fallen angel. It's an attribute, a source of the power that may be needed. Yahweh El Shaddai, the breasted one. I believe in this. It's all through Torah from the beginning to the end. Guess what name Yahushua was coming back in? Yahweh, our righteousness. Sitkenu. Guess what name he's known as while he's in the heavens right now? Yahweh Sibaot. Yahweh, the host of heaven. That's Torah. And in life, I'm going to show you that Messiah did not teach Kabbalah. He taught the power of prayer. I'm going to show you the difference. All right. So he picks this up, and y'all can watch it. It's only 1 hour of him just making an accusation and no distinction. And I believe he reads. Let me try to cue it up.
That's good. This is the esoteric or the secret or the occultic symbol for Kabbalah. This here, you know what this is called? The tree.
See how he just lied? That's not what it's called, the tree. It's called the tree of life, and that's all you're going to ever see. Why would they call it the tree of life? Oh, wow.
Sorry.
The tree.
Let's read it again.
Okay, bring this right in.
Right here. Now the serpent was more subtle.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Jehovah Elohim had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath Elohim said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden?
Okay.
And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it,
Nor touch it,
lest ye die.
lest you die. What was the tree in the midst of the garden you're talking about? The tree of knowledge. So let's do this. Let's do one better. Let's type Kabbalah tree.
We're going to do the same he do. Now he just going to some pictures.
We have so-called Hebrews teaching this in Israel now.
What does that say? The tree of life. Now, he knows that he can't get away with the fact that it says the tree of life. He's gonna read a quick definition that defines nothing and says we got Hebrews that's teaching this. Well, what is this? You're just gonna put Kabbalah, but you're gonna read something that shows that Kabbalah is not the only this how do I say, this graph does not just apply to Kabbalah. They use it as well as other people, right? This is the other emblem that they use for the tree of life. Means so above, so below. What's in heaven, let it manifest on earth. This is another way of expressing it. I'm gonna not teach you to practice it. There's nothing to practice here. There's a principle in it, but I want you to hear what he's gonna say. Because once again, let me make a disclaimer. Have I ever taught this? Do y'all know anything about what's in this? Because I never taught it. I skipped through a graph, the way he's skipping through a graph to give a quick explanation of it and said, this is not important. They're getting these principles from Torah. Is that the truth? That had the lesson. Never taught this. Like I said, what I'm about to say is something that my sisters here are hearing, and everyone in my ministry is going to be hearing for the first time. So once again, like I said, where did he get this evidence from? All right. So there's people teaching this. There's different forms of this.
The Kabbalah tree. Why do they do this? Because they think they're going to learn something. What are they going to learn? Death.
Hold on, y'all. Did y'all hear that? I want y'all to hear what he said. This graph, it's a graph that is picking a geometric shape, right? There's something that he just don't know about anything, right? Jediah is such a, where's the nipple? On everything, y'all. So watch what he says. They think they're going to learn some kind of knowledge from this. Whatever this is saying is already in Torah. You don't need the chart. You can chart it out though, right? But it's just help people to see. Some people learn by pictures. Some people learn by words. What Yah has been saying about creation or time. That's all this is. It's a graph and a geometrical shape with some principles showing something. And they call it the tree of life. He's saying that it's not the tree of life, that this is Kabbalah magic. It doesn't say that it's magic. It says it is a graph that is used in Kabbalah, and we're going to see what it is used for. But he is presuming to tell you, meaning a presumptuous lie, to tell you that this is the tree of knowledge of good and evil, of death. Just like, what's his name just said, where he at? He says, yes, Carlos Young, this is where he's saying about the tree. The proof at the end of the proofs in the video are, from my point of view, very, very slick, but hardly definitive. Satan spoke of a tree. Yes, he did. Eve ate from that tree. And Kabbalah has a tree in its cosmology. So they are the same. That's a stretch, family. Yes, it is. It's like I said, when you stretch something like a rubber band, it's either going to snap or it's perverted. It's going to twist and lock up like a knot. It's called, he's a knothead. He's a knothead, right? So he's going to presume to tell you that this is Kabbalah. Okay, Kabbalah use it. It's witchcraft, and it's the tree from the Garden of Eden that was in the middle of the garden, that was the tree of knowledge of good and evil that Satan had fed to Eve. I thought it was sex, Jediah. You lying. Why are you changing up? You said it was a penis. You lying. Not a year ago, you said it was sex. Now it's knowledge. Wait a minute. You switch it up. He will switch up when it be, he'll switch it up. So which one was it, Jediah? Was it a man that had sex with her, or was it knowledge? That what you taught, Jediah. You taught it was sex, and you still was teaching it was sex. I got it. I believe I got that video. Anyway, all right. So he presumes to tell you this. Fact check. Is it true? Watch what he gonna say. He said, this is death. Everything, this thing is death. This pillow. All right.
What are they going to learn? Evil.
They're going to learn evil. I'm going to show you.
So this is the tree of knowledge of good and evil, but because they know that is, they don't want to just say that, so they call it the tree of life.
Where'd you get that from? Like I said, he's full of accusations. Prove that this is the tree of good and evil, the tree of Satan, and not the tree of life. I was here, Jedi gonna get bust all, he gonna get smacked on both cheeks. This jaw, this cheek, that cheek, this behind. He about to get a spanking from his bigger sister again, and I'm gonna put him on my lap and I'm gonna spank him big time, both big cheeks, because his behind is bigger than mine. All right, let's see what this getting good. Good. So they lied, so they said it was the tree of life. You just gonna presume that it's the tree of Satan. Okay.
You think you can eat from this and get life?
Do you think you can eat from this and get life? Hold on. Let's repeat that.
They don't want to just say that, so they call it the tree of life. You think you can eat from this and get life?
We're gonna repeat that one more time.
They don't want to just say that, so they call it the tree of life. You think you can eat from this and get life? This is witchcraft.
He don't make it, he don't just gonna say it's witchcraft. He said, this is death. This is knowledge that can do you nothing. It's evil. It's the tree of Satan. And you cannot eat nothing from that and get life. Let me disclaim again. I never taught this. But yeah, he not explaining nothing. He gonna just say, watch what he gonna say. He gonna give a generic definition. He not gonna read nothing on it. He don't want you to. But then I'm gonna show you what he's calling witchcraft. He actually did himself. He made his own chart and talked about the 22 levels of Hebrew on this medallion, which is the menorah, and that when you count the amount of pomegranate or the buds that's on each menorah, it equals 22. What that sound like? That sound like witchcraft. He's the one that's teaching power of language. Kabbalah does not teach power of language. That's an implication. Okay. This
is Jewish mysticism.
Jewish
Kabbalah.
Kabbalah.
Okay. I want to show y'all just some pictures of it so you know.
So now what he's going to do, he's on Google. When you type that up, you're going to get 1,000 people recreating the graph and put in their own. They're going to put Hinduism on it, Right? So with the lotus flower, you're gonna see people, that's not that chart. That's somebody mixing one knowledge and throwing it on top of that. That's not Kabbalah. Then you'll see somebody put the 7 chakras down the line on this graph. That is not Kabbalah. That has nothing, that is, what is that? Hinduism, right? So a lot of people are taking that chart because there's a principle about it and applying their own knowledge on top of it. So now you see somebody put a snake on it. He just gonna get a picture and somebody put a snake on that. That is not Kabbalah. Y'all, that is just pictures of people recreating the graph the way they wanted to. And this is, like he said, the slickery of his stuff. He's lying on what he's calling the lie. That's not how you get a case. You can't lie on Satan. If you think that this is the knowledge of Satan, why you need to lie on him and get a false picture? That's not the picture. That is not the graph. He just gonna show y'all pictures. He's not gonna read nothing in those graphs. All right. He's lying, y'all.
What is that?
Snake.
What is that?
It looks like it's on a rod too.
You have, what you say?
It looks like it's on a rod too.
Okay. You have several elders, quote unquote, teachers, quote unquote, content creators in Israel teaching this serpentine, demonic, vile abomination.
Show anybody that taught this. That nobody's teaching it. This is a lie. Nobody's teaching this because this is not the truth, y'all. This is a lie. It's just a picture that somebody recreated, and you'll see 1,000 pictures that somebody used that graph and throw every other art on top of it. Just mixing stuff up. The serpentine doctrine. The serpentine doctrine is the magicians of Egypt, the 2 snakes. But guess what? Moses threw down his rod and it turned into a snake. Oh my goodness. That was the power of Yah. You mean that Moshe's snake ate they 2 snakes? Explain that, Jediah. Explain how Yahweh used the serpentine rod to destroy the power of Satan and his serpentines rods. You see what I'm talking about? What is he talking about? That's not Torah, y'all. He's not even explaining this, and that is not Kabbalah. Once again, let's keep going.
Thinking that they're going to learn something wise. Thinking that they're going to learn something unique. But all it's going to do is bring about death. Let's see what happens when you eat of it and when you touch it. Where is it?
Okay, we know where he's going with, right? She ate it and touched it and her eyes open. He doesn't know what he's talking about at the end of the day. And I haven't put my lesson out there. Y'all will get it. Just wait for it. Everything that's lawful is not expedient. I will let him continue to build his case on me. The more he builds the case and waits for that boom moment to bring me down is the moment that he brings so much attention to me that everybody who he has created a hatred against me is going to search me out to make their judgment themselves. And then they're going to see what I'm teaching. I say again, I don't teach Kabbalah. Never don't. Never don't. That's right. Never don't. All right. And never did. So he's going, let me go here. Now he's going to try to prove this word Kabbalah that Messiah taught about it, taught against it. I'm going to show you that what he's calling Kabbalah, Messiah taught it, and it came from the word. I didn't teach it yet.
Kabbalah. Sometimes spelled Kabbalah. Quoth, bait, lamed. This is the root.
That's the root.
Quoth, bait, lamed. This is where the word Kabbalah comes from. Okay.
That's it?
Now let's go to
Okay, now you're going to take it to Matthew.
15.
All right, it's getting good. Messiah taught against this Kabbalah.
Oh, and then let's just read before we go there, let's just read a little bit about Kabbalah.
Let's read a
So
little
people
bit about it.
know. Tree of Life, Kabbalah.
The tree of life is a diagram used in various mystical traditions.
Mystical traditions. What's a mystical tradition mean?
Magic.
Magic.
Does mystical mean magic? That's a lie. Mystical comes from the word secret or mystery. Mystical does not mean magic. He's implying that somebody has mystical concepts, principles, or traditions that this is magic. That is not true. That's a lie. Go look it up. Come on, we smarter than this. Mystical does not mean magic. That's another lie.
Mystical magic.
Wow.
Mystical magic.
How could a word describe itself? Mystical magic, magic, magic. Mystical magic means secret, unknown, mysterious, unexplainable, uncommon, whatever. It's a compound word now. Now it makes sense. Mystical of itself means, is that bad? There's so many mystical things in Torah, even about Yah's name. What? You mean that there's a mystery about Yah's name that the elect that's going to be sealed with his name is going to discover at the last trump? That then we were going to know the great mystery of Yah's name and eat of the tree of life? You mean there's something about the tree of life that the 144,000 that's sealed for the kingdom and got their crown of glory don't know until they manifest the kingdom, Malkut, Le'olam, forever? Come on now, those of you that know Torah and know what else. Stop it. Jediah, you better find that nipple yesterday. Because this is not even the beginning of me tearing your lives apart. This is like,
Met de voetjes. Ja, goed zo.
okay, let me just fact check him right now. All right, let's keep going.
This is some of the stuff that King Solomon practiced when he went into sin.
Where you get that from? He just making up stuff, y'all. Where did you get that from? This is what Solomon practiced. The Bible tells you what he practiced. What did he practice? He worshiped the deities of Ammon, right? The deities of Moab, which was, I don't know, say all their words, whatever. You know, that's what proved that. How is that linked? How is this linked to what Solomon did, according to Torah? He's making it up, y'all. Making it up. It's just an accusation. Prove that. Prove it.
And some of this might even, in fact, be from him. Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. This is what caused the nation of Israel to split.
This is what caused the nation of Israel to split. I have yet, you know, he didn't read nothing on it. He just showed you a picture. Okay.
Go ahead.
The tree of life is a diagram used in various mystical traditions.
It's used in what? Various mystical traditions. That means it didn't just come from Kabbalah. It's not just used in black magic or white magic or witchcraft. It's used in various secret or mystical, mysterious traditions. Is that evil? No. Does that make it witchcraft? It's used in various mystical traditions. Why? Why is this one chart of the tree of life used in various? I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you, y'all.
It usually consists of 10 nodes symbolizing different archetypes.
10 nodes. It usually consists of 10 nodes, descriptive archetypes. What does that mean? Why won't he read these 10 nodes? And what are these archetypes? What is an archetype? An archetype is a principle. 10 principles. He won't read it for you though. Let's see.
And 22 lines connecting the
The
nodes.
22 Hebrew alphabet.
The 22 Hebrew alphabet. Well, wait, is that what makes it witchcraft? Hold on, let's see what's defining this as witchcraft. He didn't say nothing about those nodes. You notice that, right? He skipped over the 10 nodes called archetypes. Archetypes means principles of the beginning. He skipped over that and he jumped to these lines that equal 22 lines representing the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. Okay.
22 letters in the Hebrew language. Oh, this must be godly. It uses Hebrew.
Wait a minute, Jediah. Didn't you just draw the menorah and you showed the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet on each node? Didn't you just do that? Oh, well, this must be righteous and good because it's using the Hebrew alphabet. Oh my goodness. You see the hypocrisy? The very thing that he's teaching against, he's teaching. Okay.
Go ahead.
The nodes are often arranged into 3 columns to represent that they belong to a common category.
All right, so.
They belong to some common category called a pillar. A pillar is something that something is standing on. It's foundational. All right.
If I type Kabbalah and magic, shouldn't nothing come together if it's of the Most High, right?
If I type in Jedi and wait. Hold on. If I type in Kabbalah and magic, shouldn't none to come if it's of the Most High. Well, if I type in Jedi and magic, it shouldn't pop up, right? Then it's not of the Most High. Right? Listen, all that you get, let's get some Kabbalah. All that you Kabbalah, Lekabel, receive. Let's get some Binah, understand it. Don't let him go with his foolishness. Go ahead. If I Google it, Jedi magic, what's up coming up?
The power, let's read that.
Let's see what he's reading.
Zoom that in a little bit closer.
He's
I typed
slick.
in Kabbalah magic. What do we get?
The power of language in Jewish Kabbalah and magic.
What do you think is worse, a book of spells in English or a book of spells in Hebrew?
Read one spell from the Kabbalah. Like read this. What spell? What spell, Jediah? Read it. Right? You want to educate the people on what they should watch out for. Don't just show them a picture and read them. So we're going to go to this. Stop right there. Stop right there. Okay, and then he picks up what?
There's that phrase that you hear when people chant magic in movies, Abra, Cadabra.
He stole
That's
that.
supposed to be a Hebraic phrase.
It is a Hebraic phrase. Okay, I'm gonna show you. This is what the brother who got some sense said. This is what he's talking about. He said, also, is the idea that one creates with words not in line with scripture? Yes, it is. I don't see how this is witchcraft. Do the scriptures not say the power of life and death are in the tongue? Did the Most High not create the world with his words? It feels like a logical leap to call that witchcraft. so that people that practice magic could say it, but saying it, what the word mean? They doing tricks on you. Ain't got nothing to do with what they saying. Now, he stole that from a lesson that I just taught about, that this is manifestation. They're taking a principle of Torah, and it is a true principle, as the brother just read it. The Torah speaks about this principle. And the principles of this world, Satan can use too. They call it manifestation or meditation, the new ageism, right? And so what you think about, what you speak shall come into manifestation. That's why be careful what you say, because it might just manifest. Abara kadabara. Abara means as I create, I will create. Ka, like the bara, what I said. What I say, I will create. That is a principle in Torah. Of itself, it's not evil. What's evil is what comes out of your words from your heart. That is not witchcraft. Just because a witch may use the principle of Torah, what makes it evil? Whatever they are using it for. The power of life and death is in the tongue, and the tongue is the end result of what is flowing from the waters of your heart. We know that he's speaking death because he's lying. He's lying. That is a deaf speech, to not speak honest, to not speak sincerely, to speak falsely, to make an accusation falsely with no evidence. Okay.
Ebara, I will create.
He stole that from me,
Kadabar,
y'all.
Kedabar, as I speak.
Mhm.
Wow.
Wow. That's right, he never do. Just like hypostatic. Y'all know that term? Now, he don't know nothing about that, right? He's too young for that. Right? Back in the 1940s and 50s, copacetic. And then they brought it back in black copacetic. Where does copacetic come from? I guess that's black magic, right? We didn't go around calling each other gods. That's what y'all doing, right? They say copacetic. What is copacetic? It was a transliteration of the word hakol besedel. Hakol besedel, meaning everything okay? Everything cool, bro? And then they slanged it up, just so many bodies on it, and it became copacetic. Oh, well, I guess that's witchcraft. Copacetic. Hakol besedel. That's Hebrew. Oh my goodness. All of a sudden, my words got more power. Fix that.
Abracadabra, you hear magicians chant that. That's Hebrew. That's Kabbalah. And do they use it to serve y'all?
No.
Do they use it to do good things?
No.
Do they use it to quote the scripture?
That's the difference. That's the difference, y'all. If what they're saying they want to bring into creation, let it be what? The word of Yah. That's Kabbalah. Okay.
They use it for what? For magic. Magic is the power of Satan.
No definition.
Magic is the power of Satan. There's white.
So Satan is going to come back and do according to the word, and be able to do work wonders in the sight of men. He gonna cause fire to come out of heaven. Say he gonna heal the sick, the blind, the dumb, the lame. It's just one thing he won't be able to do. The power of Satan, raise the dead. How do you determine the power of Satan versus the power of Yah? Like the brother said, we need more definition here, a definitive line, before you start calling everybody a witch that you ain't proved that they did anything or said anything.
Witches, there's black witches, There's good magic, there's evil magic. It's all the power of Satan, no matter how they spin it. And you have this now spreading in Israel. By looking into Jewish mystical texts, this is Jewish magic. This is how they rule the world, through their magic. Go ahead.
By looking into Jewish mystical texts and the use of names in Jewish magic, Dr. Agata Paluk considers.
Okay, let's not hear a word. I'll read it for you. I think we done. Oh, he gonna go to Matthew's, and did we go to Matthew 15? We did, right? The tree of life, the diagram. I think that, and there's one more thing I want to bring out that he says. He says that's the power of Satan, silly woman. That's pretty much it. He's just gonna go in, repeat into that times 148. Let's see, 148. Let's see.
There is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. Therefore, whatsoever ye have spoken in darkness shall
Whatsoever
be
ye have
heard
spoken in
the
darkness,
light.
you speak magic and spells and darkness. You speak witchcraft and enchantment.
That's not what the words say. He just like implying that. That's not what it said. That's not what it's saying, y'all. So he goes into explaining that the Kabbalah came from the Zohar. The Zohar. And the Zohar is another word for splendor or light. It's not the word for light. It means like splendor, enlightenment. How about that? And so Kabbalah came from the Zohar. I don't teach the Zohar. I do know some of the principles of the Zohar, and they're getting it from the Torah. It'll tell you that. We're gonna read that. You see all of this I got up here? We're gonna go back, and we're not going to we're not gonna play with somebody's nipples here. We're gonna squeeze the milk out and find out if there's any good in it. If it's milk in the word, should we eat it? We're gonna find this out. I'm not teaching it. We're gonna find out what he said. He said that symbol is not the tree of life, it's the tree of Satan. There's nothing in it. If you eat of that fruit, it is death. It is of Satan, the serpent, and that is witchcraft. We need to go a little deeper to find out if that's true. Now, just because somebody may use anything for witchcraft or magic does not make it of itself witchcraft. Like we said, the emblem did not start just from Kabbalah. Different traditions use it. The question is, where did they get it from? All right. So he goes into explaining that, and the Zohar will tell you that they get their principles. Their principles is about creation, the manifestation of Yah's power in this world of creation, and some other stuff. I'm going to read it. So Kabbalah is an offshoot of that. And Kabbalah has many different hands taking it this direction. It's made up. Let's put it like that. They're just taking these principles, like, oh, let me find a system and make it up, like the numbers game, right? They're just making it up. Okay.
And darkness. Don't you know y'all's gonna let it be known on the rooftops? Just like Brother brought out earlier. It will be known on the rooftops. The wickedness that you're doing in secret. Your chicken blood seances and whatever else that is going on.
Well, what's going on, Jediah? My chicken blood seances is all over my YouTube. What's in secret? Right? This man is going straight to hell. My chicken blood seances, right? He's trying to cut me, right? They ain't gonna bring up homosexuality because I said he act like a homosexual, right? And that's one of the accusations he wants to put on me from my wicked past, not in my ministry, right? Something like that. That I've denied Messiah. No denying Messiah here. I speak what I teach, and I teach what I create, and I create what I speak, and I do. My acts and my words go together. All right. So enough of him. All right. He said what he had to say. Now we're gonna go into the word. We're gonna go into the word. So let me keep it on him. Let's see, on the tree, right? Okay, he said Kabbalah. He used this word. He wanted to prove. Let's go into Wikipedia, the Zohar first, the root of this. The Zohar, right? The Zohar. Kabbalah, concepts, history, practice, people, role. Okay. The Zohar, Hebrew means splendor or radiance, right? Da'ar is in Yiddish, right? Der Zoyem, that's Yiddish, that's not Hebrew, is a foundational work in the literature of Jewish mystic thought. Mystic means secret, right? Secret thought, known as Kabbalah. It is a group of books, including commentary. I think there's 6 volumes, commentary on the mystical aspects of the Torah, the 5 books of Moses. Now, I don't teach Zohar. I'm familiar with some of the concepts in Zohar, not because I ever read it. I've never read the Zohar in my life. I've heard people talk on it, and I know where Zohar got it from, out of the Torah, the 5 books of Moses. And scriptural interpretations, as well as material on mysticism, right? Mythical cosmogony, in a model concerning origin or the cosmos of the universe. So they're trying to give you scriptural interpretation by the Torah about the mythical, meaning the secret origins of the universe. That would be the Le'olam Va'ed, the everlasting worlds, right? And mystical psychology. Psychology is the scientific study of the mind or behavior. Psychology includes the study of conscious and unconscious phenomena, including feelings and thoughts. It is an academic discipline of immense scope, crossing the boundaries between all natural and social sciences. The Bible deals with secret psychology, the unknown psychology of the mind. The Zohar contains discussions of the nature of Elohim, the origin and structure of the universe, the nature of the soul, redemption, the relationship of ego to darkness, right? The Yitzir Hara, the evil inclination. The Bible talks about the Yitzir Hara, right? And the true self, the light of Elohim. That's all Torah. And scriptural exegesis can be considered a esoteric, also, like I said, a secret closed knowledge form of the rabbinic literature known as Midrash, which elaborates on Torah. I don't teach Midrash at all. So that is the root of Kabbalah. Witchcraft, where did you see it? Where do you see anything about language in the Hebrew language? Everything that Zohar is speaking of is their interpretations of the secret world of materialism, manifestation, right? That's where some kind of manifestation of the mind might come in. The mystical aspects of the Torah, the mythical cosmology of the worlds of existence, how the worlds came into being, and the psychology of man, and the nature of Elohim. And it's all come, whatever they're talking about, they all got it from Torah, the 5 books. There are teachers in Israel teaching this. Okay. All right. That's that Kabbalah. Let's look at Kabbalah now, right? Kabbalah, literally reception or tradition. So the word Kabbalah, as he said, comes from the word Kabbal. We're going to look that up. The word Kabbal is a verb that means to receive, lekabel, or to give, or to take. I received something. But it's also called a reception, like a reception at a wedding, right? So they're calling it a tradition because it's something that it was passed down. When he says the Kabbalah Zechenim, that is a description of what the tradition is, a tradition of the elders. And Yahushua describes the tradition of the elders. We're going to go into some of that. Kabbalah is not the noun, right? That it is you got to get to the combination adjective. What have they received? From something from their elders, and Yahushua speaks to that. He's making it up. Kabbalah Shabbat means the reception or the receiving of the Shabbat, right? Wasn't we supposed to receive the Torah? Kabbalah Torah. So just because the word has Kabbalah on it does not make it Kabbalah, wicked, like magic, right? It just means you receive something. The something is what you got to describe, Jediah. And the something that they receive is traditions of the elders. And what was that? We're going to get to it, right? It says, is an esoteric. Let's see, esoteric, also known as esotericism, some of the Western mystery, sometimes the Western mystery traditions. So they're mixing it with a European ideology, is a term scholars use to categorize a wide range of loosely related ideas and movements that develop within Western society. That is a Western term of really mysticism, a secret teaching, right? Discipline and school of thought in Jewish mysticism. That mysticism does not mean magic, y'all. Especially since Gershom Schlolim's major trends in Jewish mysticism distinguishes between the different forms of mysticism across different eras of Judaism history, or these Kabbalah which emerged in the 12th century, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't mean magic, y'all. A traditional Kabbalist in Judaism is called a mechubal, a receiver, mechubal, right? The definition of Kabbalah varies according to the tradition and aims of those following it. So you got to distinguish what are they using it for? What is their goal for using it? And when I teach about the name of Yah, when I mention this stuff, I'm showing you that they're taking a principle from Torah and they are aiming it towards manifestation. Materialism. That's what you're teaching, Jediah. That's what you're teaching. Materialism. Again, the definition of Kabbalah varies according to the tradition and the aims of those following it. What you trying to say? From its religious origin as an integral part of Judaism, and its later adoptions in Western esotericism, Christian Kabbalah, see? Or Hermetic Kabbalah, Western esoteric traditions, the occult. This is magic. They're taking what? Principles of Torah and applying it to Western occultism for manifestation. Jewish Kabbalah is a set of esoteric teachings meant to explain, it's an explanation, the relationship between the unchanging, eternal Elohim, the mysterious Ein Sof. The word Ein means there is no Sof ending. It's another word for eternal, everlasting Father, right? The infinite, That's what how you say the infinite. And the mortal and the final, the finite universe. That's Torah, Elohim's creation. It's explaining how it was from eternity, man fell and the creation fell. That's in Corinthians. That the creation is moaning and groaning and waiting for what? The sons of light to rise. Because it was subject to what? Finite death. Creation. Its form, it forms the foundation of mystical, meaning secret, religious interpretations within Judaism. Jewish Kabbalists originally developed their own transmission of sacred texts. Like I said, what I'm going to show you is that other people wrote things about Kabbalah that they made up within the realm of Jewish tradition. Let me see. And often use classical Jewish scriptures to explain to demonstrate the mystical teaching. These teachings are held by followers of Judaism to define their inner meaning of both the Hebrew Bible and the traditional rabbinical literature. Don't mess with that. And their formerly concealed transmitted dimension, right? Meaning the knowledge of the unseen world, as well as to explain the significance of Jewish religious observances. One of the fundamental Kabbalistic texts, the Zohar, was first published in the 13th century in the almost universal form ordered to its modern Judaism in Lurianic Kabbalah. There's another kind of Kabbalah. Lurianic Kabbalah is a school of Kabbalah named after Isaac Luria, the Jewish rabbi who developed it. So you can see that what you see is sages all across time took these principles and came up with their forms, their own forms, their own aims of using this. So you got to define that. I don't need to read any more of this, right? So go ahead. You got a question? Give me a question. Mm-hmm. That's right. Mm-hmm. It's not the truth. So she asked, so this is exactly what Yahushua was saying to the Pharisees, that your traditions is maybe based on some form of Torah, but it's not the truth, right? Meaning they have what? Denied the power. But I'm gonna go into that. I'm gonna show you what Messiah said. So he said Messiah taught against Kabbalah. No, he didn't. He taught against the traditions, what they received from the elders. Guess what we received from the elders? Multiple marriage. Y'all received that. Y'all didn't receive that from Mount Sinai, and you didn't receive it from Moshe either. It's not Torah. You received that after the elders, traditions of the elders. That's Kabbalah, according to him. 22 letters on the menorah. Where'd you get that from? I'm gonna tell you, I told you that Jedi reads some of their books. No. He don't read Zohar. He doesn't actually know Kabbalah. He knows enough to know I can't say anything more, just if you see the picture, run from that person, right? But once again, you can see that there are branches of this. Many rabbinical literatures have taken Kabbalah, the principles, and created their own stuff. So this is where we get to when he said, let's look up Kabbalah and magic. Kabbalah was never magic. It was some principles and ideas of a thought concerning Torah. There was nothing to do with it. People created sciences off of these principles. So he said, if you go back, watch. He said, let's look up Kabbalah magic. But let's look up Jedi magic. So he came up with the power of language in Jewish Kabbalah or magic. Kabbalah does not teach that, y'all. This is some rabbi called Agada Paluk that took something from the Zohar and rewrote it and made a science, right? And let's see. Kabbalah and sex magic, a mythical ritual genealogy. Marla Segal. So all she's doing is writing, it's a book for $99.95, right? How old is this book? Is this a date? Ain't even nothing to read. So it says, in this provocative book, it's a new book, right? It's a new age book. See? Okay, here we go. In this provocative book, Marla Siegel, that's a Jew, explores the development of the Kabbalistic cosmology underlining sex magic. Not in connection. She's connected, drawing extensively on Jewish myth and ritual. Siegel tells the powerful story of the relationship between the divine and the human body. That's what Jedi teaches. Wait a minute, Jedi, didn't you just teach a lesson about the body of Yahushua and put a man's body up there? Aren't you teaching this when you draw a muscle man on a cross that look like you but don't look like you? It look like the male masculine version of you, and you say that the man's balls and his loins is the Torah and the wheat.
A lot of questionable things on your channel that just like, bruh, you got a video about the male joint, you know, the tablets in the staff, you know, supposed to be a male organ, and you're saying that basically Moses' tablets were his what's the word? His pistachios, and his ride was his freaking, I'm trying to keep this somewhat PG, was a long front tail or an elephant trunk. Dude, you don't see nothing wrong with that, man? Now you coming at us talking about false doctrines and false prophet and you a GD Jezebel and all of this stuff you got to say, but yet you got a video comparing the law, the commandments, the 10 commandments and the tablets and the staff of Moses to his male parts. Dude.
That sounds like some new age relationship between the divine and the human body. That's what Jediah teaches y'all. I'm not going to prove everything today. Y'all know, all of y'all that watch Jediah know what I'm talking about. Okay, in late antique Jewish esotericism, in medieval Kabbalah and New Age ritual, she's mixing everything up. That what he wrote, that what he picked up. That's not the definition of Kabbalah. That's somebody that's, what did I say, taking Kabbalah principles and adding stuff onto it. This Marla Siegel is some nasty pervert that likes sex, and she wrote a book because she feels spiritual when she have sex. That's a nasty one. All right. So he did that. I'm gonna close that up, right? Then he went back and read the second one. He picked up Kabbalah Magic, and the next one is from www Press, meaning pseudo press origin, Kabbalah and sex magic and mythical ritual Jedi. It's another book, y'all. Who wrote this book? That's not Kabbalah. That's somebody just writing. All right, let's see. The power of language in Jewish Kabbalah and magic. How to do and undo things with words. It's an article with Agata Paluk. That sounds like another Jew. Theme, Kabbalah and mysticism. It was written on February 29th. This is not even a book, y'all. Just by writing an article. And now what I told y'all about Jediah, he been reading books, people's books of things, right? My eyes is hurting reading all this stuff. Right? They ain't saying nothing here. They ain't saying nothing here, Kabbalah. This is just somebody writing some stuff from the Kabbalists, right? Okay, she mentions the Tetragrammaton. You got a problem with the Tetragrammaton? The Tetragrammaton is the 4 divine letters of Yah's name, the Yod, He, Wah, He. She gives an example of 22 letters, divine name derived from the first 5 words of the priestly blessing and numbers. That's numerology. Guess who does that? Jediah. He teaches numerology. Every time he just gonna take a Hebrew word, hey, look, it equals 7 or it equals 666. right? Or equals 14 or 12, right? And combine it with that's numerology. Do I teach numerology? Nope. Gematria. No, I don't teach gematria. That's some science that somebody trying to take out. This is not even the 72 names of Yahweh, right? Or attributes. This is just some 72 letter divine name composed of the letters of Exodus 14, 19, and 21. This is some just rabbinical foolishness, right? At the end of the day, it's not witchcraft, though. It's just some science that they're trying to make something sound like a secret, mystical prophecy underneath what it actually says. Okay, I don't know what all this is. I don't do this stuff. Because it ain't Kabbalah, right? It's somebody just, look, I gotta pull a hose of the foundation and pre-doctoral fellowship at the Free University. The Free University, see? Berlin. When it says Free University, we know what that means. She received her doctorate in Hebrew and Jewish studies from University College London in 2013, focused on the Kabbalah and Nathan Netta Chopra of Krakow. So she mixed some stuff up. She worked as a cataloger of Hebrew manuscripts at the British Library in 2015. All right. That ain't our literature. It ain't Torah. That's just some article. That's what he looked up. All right. So let's go to the word Kabbalah so you know I'm not lying about it. So it comes from the word Kabal. It means to take or to receive. So all it is an adjective, or it's a verb that was made into an adjective. The T makes it a compound word describing something. The receiving or the taking that you got, meaning what you got from your elders, as opposed to the Torah. That's all it means. It doesn't mean Kabbalah as in magic, right? And Messiah never said that about the Pharisees. He says, do what they say and not as they do, because they are hypocrites. What's the hypocrisy? They speak something and they don't do it, right? They don't, as they create, as they don't do, abara kadabra. Let me renounce this. I don't call that. It's a Hebrew term, meaning as I create, as I will create what it is that I speak. So y'all said, not do what they do as they say. All right. It comes from the word kabal, which means to receive. It's a verb, lechabel. It could be accepted, made as a custom, right? Opposed to, right? Or received, take, took, or undertook, right? That's what it means. Kabbalat, what you received, what you got from your fathers. Guess what? Jedi is practicing Kabbalat Zechenim, his traditions that he received from his fathers. That's right. That's what he's practicing. All right. So I'm going to come out of that. It means nothing. You'll see it all through Exodus, right? Chabal, lechabel, and he received, and he took the blood, and he accepted the weight, right? It means that he undertook, and he made a custom for themselves, and he accepted the good, he Kabbalah, lechabel, right? What does it mean? And he accepted the instruction, Musar, and the counsel, the Etzah. What does that mean? What are you receiving? All right, all that you get, let's get some understanding. Now, let me go back to, all right. So once again, if I just showed you this picture and his title, Kabbalah, witchcraft, and non-messianics in Israel, and then I showed you him doing his picture, you would say, well, is he teaching Kabbalah? Well, what is that, right? And then you listen to his messages and be like, okay, so somebody has this tree. He said it's the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. It's Satan and all of that. And like the brother said, this is a Jedi screw twisting a leap, froggy leap. A froggy leap means it's a lie, right? He riveted. Jediah mind tricks part endless, because I'm going to, as long as he continues to build a false case, I'm going to fact check him on his lies. So y'all can understand how he lies and do the same yourselves. Y'all can do this all day. You don't even have to know what I know to fact check Jediah and his lies. He just be making up stuff. Now, let me go to the next slide. Read here. Disclaimer, right? And so if Jediah goes and tries to put a picture of me, just like I put a picture of him, but I'm saying that you could come to any conclusion by that. Disclaimer. I'm putting this picture up because he put the picture up, claiming that somebody else is teaching this, that I put the picture up with no proof, and that I'm teaching witchcraft, that this is the tree, not the tree of life. This is Jewish magic, Satan, witchcraft, and that there's nothing from this that brings life but death. And I said, that's a lie. Disclaimer, I do not practice, teach, incant, or use any language, gematria, repetitious, or angels for prayer, meditation, manifestation, or science of faith. I'm going to say it again. So if Jediah accuses me of something like this, I'm going to deal with it, because it would be a slander and a false claim, right? You got to prove that just because I put that up, right? Now, what he refuses to tell you is, let's read. It just said what? It's some 10, what she called it? I don't even know what she called them. Nodes. Node archetypes, right? So all I did, I put this up so that you could try to see it, what the Hebrew says. I don't know if you can read both of this. I try to see what could I pull up that's clear. The Ayin Sof means the infinite, right? The Ayin Sof is describing outside of time, the infinite relationship of the existence of the Yahweh Elohim. Ayin Sof is Torah. Infinite Elohim, never ending. Keter means crown. That's the Hebrew word, keter. It means crown. Yehoshua talks about a crown at the end. The crown equals what? Go back to the lesson of no rapture, no wings, when I talk about the 144 receiving their crowns. Their crown is their true soul from Yahweh, the everlasting. They receive an everlasting crown, everlasting life. That's why you see the keter right up underneath the Ayin Sof, right? In that, okay, there's something missing here, right? That's why I put this up. You have in this first dimension, that's what it's a dimension, a pathway. In this pathway from the crown, before you get to the crown to reach everlasting infinite life, you have to go through, this is what the pathway is about. It's not about Hebrew, it's about a pathway. You have to go through something called Bina, Chakma, and Da'at. Wait a minute. Chakma, Bina, and Da'at. That means what? Wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. What? How could this be the tree of knowledge of good and evil when knowledge is only one of the principles here that y'all talk about? Knowledge is neither nor. You got to figure out what knowledge. But y'all talks about these principles in Torah, right? Hakma, Bina, Wada'at. Where did they get it from, y'all? This is the tree of knowledge of good and evil from Satan? Or is this Torah that they're trying to give a principle, and the chart is only charting out a principle to reach your crown? Okay, let's get some understanding. Like I said, this ain't a whole lesson. I have never taught this before. But I teach Torah. I don't need a chart or anything else. Torah is true, and let every man, Jedi, be a liar. Where did they get this principle from? Where did they get this out of Torah, y'all? What is this? He said there's nothing from that is all death. Really? Proverbs 2. Hakma, Bina, and understanding is the pathways that lead to your crown, which is your everlasting life. My son, if you will receive my words and store up my commandments within you, so as to turn your ear from wisdom, I'm going to show you that is called Hakma. What was given in the garden was not Hakma. It was Sechel, which is not a part of that. And apply your heart to understanding. Wait, let me look at the Hebrew right now. Let's go. Let's see if I'm lying. Interlinear. I'm in 2 and 2. Right? Le chakma. Incline. Lehak-shiv. Pay attention. Lehak-shiv means pay attention. Lehakma. Oznecha, and put your ear, mean listen out for, I can't see, right? The aznecha, your ear, tata, put to, apply to, give. Leveka, your heart, watch this, your heart, le tebuna. Tebuna is another word for understanding. I'm not going to pull out every word. You're going to see bina in there. Tebuna comes from the word bina. Watch this. Tebon from bina, discernment, right? Reasoning, skillful, understanding. It comes in different forms. Bina or beam, discernment, right? Consider, clever, understanding, different forms of it. When I do the lesson, I don't need to show you any chart. I'm going to show you that this is a principle. Y'all said wisdom is a principle thing. And all that you get what? Understanding. That's Torah. And Messiah teaches that. I'm gonna show you he teaches these principles. Okay. Let me come out of this. Oof. Right? It says, yes, if you call out for discernment and lift up your voice for understanding, what? If you seek her as silver, meaning don't look for money and search for her as for hidden treasures. That's mystical, right? As a mystery that you hide, that everyone doesn't understand. Then you will understand the fear of Yahweh and find knowledge of Elohim. Watch this. I'm going to the Hebrew. Watch this. Let's go into the Hebrew. Let me open it up. As tabim, then you will understand. Yir'at, to fear Yahweh, wa da'at. Elohim tamsa, you will discover, you will find out, you will draw out. What? That's witchcraft? The 10 nodes is witchcraft? That's the tree of knowledge of good and evil? It's not the tree of life? Wait a minute. I'm only going to read Proverbs here. I'm going to smack him all up and down, bruised, like in a car accident. He's going to be bruised left and right. When I read Torah after Torah after Torah after Torah after Torah, that y'all said wisdom is principle and chief, meaning an archetype. Get that in all that you get some understanding, get some wisdom, search for her, hide her, hold her in your heart, speak her, seek for her. What? When you seeking for somebody, you got to receive her. And when you do that, you will start to understand the knowledge of Yahweh. which is the begin. All wisdom starts with what? The fear. Right? Okay, let's keep going. It said what? Wisdom, she's a tree of life, right? Hakma is a tree of life. So is being, what? Stop. Okay. For Yahweh gives wisdom. That's Hakma. Out of his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. He lays up sound wisdom for the straight. He is a shield. We're going to get to the shield to those that walk in integrity. There's a path, a derrick, a pathway. It's called integrity, meaning speak from the heart with truth, that you may guard the paths, what? The paths of justice and preserve the way of the righteous. Then you will understand righteousness and justice, equity in every good path. For wisdom will enter into your heart. Oh my goodness. Well, if it entered, it means I Kabbalah it. I received it. Knowledge will be pleasant to your soul. What? It's not death to my soul. The art will be pleasant to my soul. Discretion will watch over you. Understanding will keep you to deliver you from the way of evil. What? From the man who speaks twisted things. That's Jedi mind tricks, right? Who forsake the paths of uprightness, being straight and integrity, to walk in the ways of darkness. That's Jedi. How do we know he's walking in the ways of darkness? His eyes are always dark. And his works are always dark. And he lies on the word, and he lies on people that teach the word. Who rejoices to do evil and delight in the perverseness of a twisted. He's delighting in it. Who are crooked in their ways and wayward in their paths. To deliver you from the strange woman, that woman that took over his house, that's increasing him in his own wickedness, right? That's Jezebel. That's saying, don't worry, Jediah, I'm gonna get you what you want. I got you, babe. I got your arms to lift you up. The wayward woman, that would be that whore that's sitting next to her. Him. Yeah, her. Him. Where was I? Who forsakes the friend of her youth and forgets the covenant of Elohim. It's talking about Israel as a young lady that cheated on her husband and went after somebody else. For her house leads to death, her path leads to death. Those paths. But that path is not Hakma, Bina, and understanding, and Da'at, right? None who go to her return again. Neither do they attain the paths of life. What are they supposed to retain? Hakma, Bina, Wada'at. For the upright will dwell in the land, the perfect will remain in it, but the wicked will be cut off from the land. The treacherous will be rooted out, like a tree plucked up. All right, that's just one, y'all. I'm not teaching nothing. I'm just fact checking his lies. But I think I want to give y'all one more. One more. Okay, he said it's not the tree of life, right? I only read the first three principles. Like I said, I'm not going to teach you all of that. I'm going to show you one more thing. He said Messiah didn't teach this. I'm going to show you what that principle is. Be 1 second. All right, I think I'm going to hit you off with just a little gift, right? I said I was just going to read that. I'm going to read, I got to show him to be a liar, right? That the graph that they say is the tree of life is actually principles from the Torah. I'm not going to go through them all, but I'm going to give you something real quick, like I said. And then I'm going to show you that the tree of knowledge of good and evil to make one wise was not what he's calling Kabbalah. I'm going to show you, I'm going to prove you once again. So I just showed you what y'all said about wisdom, chachma, bina, right? And understanding, the knowledge, the at. I'm in Proverbs 11. When you read all of Proverbs 11, it talks about discretion, it talks about false balances, it talks about riches and getting goods, right? It's talking about manifestation, blessings of the physical material world and how they pursue it, right? But then it goes to say, 27, he who diligently seeks good seeks favor, but he who searches after evil, it shall come to him. Talks about riches. He who trusts in his riches will fall, but the righteous shall flourish as a green leaf. He who troubles his own house shall inherit the wind. The foolish shall be servant to the wise of heart. The fruit of righteousness is a green tree. He who is wise wins soul. Behold, the righteous shall be repaid in the earth. How much more the wicked and the sinner? Let's see. Tree of life, the fruit of the tree of life. Let's see what that says in Hebrew. Pri Sedek, the fruit of righteousness. Etz is a tree, chaim, of life. Velachat, he who takes, nafshot, souls, chacham, is wise. Meaning he who wins souls is wise. Chacham is someone who has chachma, one of the paths of Torah. And Torah shall be your chachma, your wisdom. All right, let's give you another one. Proverbs 3. Blessed is he who finds wisdom. Happy is the man who finds wisdom, the man who gets understanding. Let's look at the Hebrew, right? Let's look at the Hebrew. Let's see where this is coming from. Asheri, right? That word asheri, it means happy, what they say is blessed. Adam, matzah, who finds chakma. Wa Adam, a man, yafkid, who gains tebuna, coming from the word bina. Okay, let's see. Let's go back to the English. I'm not even doing OT. I never even taught this yet, right? Happy is the man who finds wisdom and the man who gets understanding. For her good profit is better than getting silver, riches, and her return is better than fine gold. She is more precious than rubies. None of the things you can desire are to be compared to her. Length of days is in her right hand. That would be Ayin Sof, the crown. And in her left are riches and honor. What's the riches and honor? Not materialism. Her ways are ways of pleasantness. All her paths are peace. She, Chakma, is a tree of life to those who lay hold of her. Kabel, lechabel, receive her, take her. Happy is everyone who retains, keeps her. By wisdom, Yahweh founded the earth. By understanding, he established the heavens. His knowledge, the depths were broken up and the skies dropped down as dew. My son, let them not depart from your eyes. Keep sound wisdom and discretion, so that they will be life to your soul and grace around your neck. Then you shall walk in the way securely. Your foot won't stumble. When you lie down, you will not be afraid. Yes, you won't have demonic dreams. When you lie down, Jediah. Yes, when you lie down and you sleep, will be sweet. You will have sweet dreams, right? Don't be afraid of sudden fear, neither of the desolation of the wicked when it comes. For Yahweh will be confident and will keep your foot from being taken. The ways of righteousness and all of this is Torah. The wise will inherit glory, but the shame will be the promotion of fools, right? I'm not going to read anymore. If I wanted to do a lesson on the tree of life, guess what I would come up with? The 10 Sephiroth. All the stuff that y'all said we're supposed to get and to inherit the kingdom. Oh my goodness, I'm teaching Kabbalah? No, I'm not. I'm not done. So let's show you how that's not the tree of the knowledge and good and evil, that he's lying on this. He's lying. I'm in Genesis 3, right? He said, 3 and 4. The serpent said to the woman, you won't surely die. For Elohim knows that in the day that you eat it, your eyes will be open and you will be like Elohim, knowing good and evil. So we know that the tree of knowledge wasn't the issue. It was that her eyes was open to another knowledge. And that knowledge had some good and ultimately it was evil. But ultimately, whatever was in that tree is going to lead to death. Gotcha. Okay, you got that. When the woman saw that the tree was good for food and that it was a delight to her eyes, pleasurable, right? And that the tree was to be desired to make one wise. You say that's Hakma? Okay, let's look into the Hebrew. And I'm going to show that he's lying on the word in Hebrew. He's lying, y'all. He knows y'all don't know Hebrew. You're not going to look it up behind him. Let's see the wisdom of this tree if it's Chachma. All right. I do this. This is my lesson that ain't come out, y'all. All right. Let's see. Let's just look. To open the eyes, right? Nechmad, pleasurable. Ha'et, it's a tree. Le hashkil. Le hashkil. That is not Chachma or Bina. Right? That is not that, y'all. That is not Da'at. Satan does not have Chachma, Bina, wa Da'at, nor does he have the other ones. I'm going to show you. He has, his tree is Lehashkil. Lehashkil is intellect, slickery, dickery, fake knowledge. That's Jedi all day. That is not Chachma. He's lying. He's a liar. And I keep telling you that he's lying on the Hebrew language. All right? To make a tree, lehashkil, the tree to become wise. This wisdom is not Hakma. This is intellect. The thought process by which the Daya thinks to do what? Twist the truth. He's a master. Mashkile. Intellect. He thinks he's so intelligent that he's stupid. Now prove me wrong, Jediah. I just proved you to be a lie for everything you said, even though you didn't prove it on me yet. Prove it that that's the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Where do you see Hakma, Da'at, Bina? I just showed you that those principles, the first three, that's right underneath what? The crown of the iron source, the infinitive, the crown of everlasting life, these three. And he says, get that. That's the tree of life. I only read 3. I could do this all day. And I'm not even teaching y'all. This is like a quick step. This is a quick smack, y'all. Right? All right. Now I'm going to show you something else, right? I'm going to show you something. Matthew, when he talked about the hypocrites, right? We're going to get into Yah's prayer. He says, be careful. This is what Yehoshua taught. Be careful that he's going to give you the Kabbalah, Zechariah, versus what Messiah said. You got to define that. I'm going to read you what Messiah said, the Kabbalah, Zechariah are versus what Messiah taught. Watch this. Matthew 6. Be careful that you don't do your charitable giving before men to be seen by them. Isn't that what Jediah did when he took in every day? He was bragging about how He helped these two young boys. He gave them money, gave them a place to stay. Where are these two young men now? Where they at? But you bragged all day long about the blessings that you gave because somebody from your ministry didn't do them right. Right? Or else you have no reward from your Father who is in heaven. Therefore, when you do merciful deeds, don't sound the trumpet before yourself about all what you're doing for the people. When you give somebody something to help them, do not announce it as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets. That would be in their ministries. And when they walk by the way, telling people what they did for this person, what they did for that person. That is a Kabbalah Zekani, hypocrite, right? That they may get glory from men. Most certainly, I tell you that they have received their reward. But when you do merciful things, don't let your left hand know what your right hand does, so that your merciful deeds may be in secret. Then your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly. All right. When you pray, you should not be as the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and in the corners of streets. That would be Jediah. He's saying praying openly for the whole world and everybody in the assembly to see you, that they may be seen by men. Your prayers are supposed to be private. If you have a prayer that is congregational, you should turn off the camera. Turn the camera off. Most certainly, I tell you, they have their reward because they praying in front of you trying to look what? Like they're righteous. But when you pray, enter into your room, inner room, meaning make sure to close the door so everybody ain't hearing your wonderful prayer. But we do know about communal prayer, but that's between the people that's praying. You don't do that all over the internet. And having shut the door, pray to your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly. Does Jediah practice that? He prays in the open, right? He prays all out in the streets over graveyards. That would be what? Kabbalah Zekani. Versus what Yehoshua taught, right? It says in praying, don't use vain repetition. This is what they do. That would be mantras. That would be using gematria for a word and saying it over and over and over to create a vortex or science, right? That's what that would be. As the Gentiles do. For they think that they will be heard for their much speaking. Don't just get louder, louder. Yes, thank you, Lord. Right, right. You keep asking over and over and over. And you think for your much speaking, repetitious prayers, saying the same thing over and over and over and over and over. That would be mantras, enchantments. When they got beads, nothing, the beads are not evil, but a lot of traditions got the beads. What's the beads about? Is that magic? No, the beads aren't magic. What they use it for is magic. What they're doing is doing what? They're repeating something, and it's a counting system to know how many times they said it, because they've done some kind of gematria or numerology on the word, the angel, the prayer, the mantra, how many times they got to say it to create a vortex of energy that it manifests. I don't teach that. I don't do that. Right? That is rabbinical magic that they're taking out of Kabbalah. I don't practice that. Don't teach that. Messiah taught against that. Using vain repetitions that the Gentiles do, for they think that they will be heard for their much speaking. Therefore, don't be like them, for your Father knows what things you need before you ask. What is he saying? Stop praying for a blessing. You can ask me once, that's it. According to my will. So Jediah talking about why your prayers are not being heard to break open the brass sky to receive your best. And how about because you keep begging? What they did was exactly what Yehoshua taught. I'm going to prove it to you. right? And before they asked for anything, the only thing they asked for was what Yahweh already promised, the covenant, the blessings of Abraham. You said that you would bless my seed forever and multiply, right? That they called out already what Yah had already promised. I didn't see nothing about a car, a house, or any of that. I didn't see in the covenant of Abraham that you was going to get the land of Babylon, that you was going to get an acre of land in the land of your captivity. I didn't see nothing about 7 wives with that blessings. He said, in Sarah, your seed shall be called, and she will be the mother of nations. 1 wife. That's the blessing of Abraham. Not 2, not 3, not 4, and definitely not 2 barren women. Right? That's right. So he says, pray like this. Our Father, who is in the heavens. So we got to know who we praying to. Do we call out Michael, Uriel, Gabriel, Raphael? No, we don't. Is Uriel, Gabriel, Michael, and Raphael, if I ever say their name, is that evil? They are what? Holy archangels that surrounding Yahushua, according to the text. And Yahweh is going to send Michael or Gabriel. He's going to send Michael for our help. He's going to send Gabriel to bring messages. But we don't have to pray to them. We don't pray to none of that. We don't call them in our prayers. There's no need to. We know they exist. All we need to do is call out the name of Yah, and he'll send us what's necessary to have. Right? That's in his word that he's going to send Michael. If I pray a prayer, not that I have, in the time of our trouble, because I know the word of Yah, he said in that time, Michael is going to come and help us. If I pray a prayer and say, Yahweh, in the time of trouble, you said, according to your word, that Michael, you would send Michael, your archangel, to come. Will you bring him? I ask you, Father, Yahweh in heaven, in the name of your son, Yahushua, according to your word. Did I just do black magic? Did I call on an angel? No, I did not. But we see that people that want to practice magic because they call on demons need to protect themselves from the demons. So they would make what? Either a pentagon or a 6-pointed star. It's a shield, put lights around it, and put the archangels around it. Why? They're trying to shield themselves while they harness an evil power so they can control the evil power, but it doesn't overtake them. Do we do that? Have I ever taught it? But I taught you that that's how they want to use Yahweh's angels. Does it work? No, it's a lie. I don't care how many times they call upon it, they didn't appear. All right. Let your kingdom come. That would be Malkut Yavon. And let your will be done as in heaven, so on earth. This is a principle right here, right? This is a principle of prayer. Where did Yahushua get this from? I'm going to show you. What is he doing? According to Jedi, guess what he's doing? He's calling out a part of the tree of life that he's calling Kabbalah. Watch. I'm going to show you this in the Hebrew. Give us today our daily bread. Give us our daily word. And forgive us of our debts. So use debts, but it's really transgression. A transgression is a very specific type of sin. All sin is not the same. There are sins that lead to death, and there are sins that don't lead to death. There are sins that you just got to pay back and make it good with your neighbor, and it wasn't intentional. It could be out of ignorance. But debts are things, trespasses, to do with money, goods, belongings, property, promises, vows. That's a debt. That's a transgression, right? To take something, you have something that belongs to me, or something that should have been given to me is destroyed and hasn't been given. Or you said that you would give it to me, so why don't I have it? You owe me something. That is a debt. That's why I was using the word debt, because it's trying to get you to understand what a transgression is. Fornication, Jediah, is not this. Fornication is not a transgression. That is an iniquity. That's right. And we can ask that because guess what? Within the body, we still transgress against each other, sometimes by mistake. We make a promise, we forget. Oh my goodness, you said you was gonna give it to me. Oh my goodness, I don't have it. But you're supposed to give it and whatever you have and more, right? But you can forgive the person and let it go and forgive them. You can do that within the body, a transgression. As we forgive those who transgress against us. Do we forgive people that commit iniquity against us? No, not iniquity. Bring us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For yours, watch this, for yours is the kingdom, the power, the glory, forever, amen. For if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you don't forgive men their trespasses, neither will the Father forgive you. Where did Yahushua get that from? All right, I want to go back to the graph. Let's go back to the graph. Once again, at the bottom, disclaimer, I do not practice, teach, to enchant, or use any language, gematria, repetitions, or angels for prayer, meditation, or manifestation, or a science of faith. That's not what this is. People can use it for that. It's not what this is. So I just established the 3 first principles that you got to get to the crown, your everlasting life. I explained that without talking about Kabbalah, just Torah. Bina Hakma Da'at. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Get those, right? Then Yah talks about something called chesed, mercy. Your mercy endures forever. It's another path to eternity. Chesed chasido, right? Chasido le'olam, forever. That's another foundation that Yah built us his Torah off of. Mercy. So when Moshe had asked to see the glory of Yah, for you are the glory, what did he say? You cannot see my face, but I'm gonna let my glory pass by, put my hand over you, and I'll call out the name of Yah, and you will see the goodness and my mercy. What? That's a part of Yah? Back? The mercy of Yah is part of the covenant. His everlasting mercy. He founded this world off of, right? Giburah comes from the word Gabal. Giburah means the strength, the mighty one. Giburah. Teferet, right, means beauty or compassion. But Giburah, they say justice or judgment. That's why they wrote the word deen there. But no, it's Giburah, right? Teferet means beauty or compassion. What? Where's it? Nitzach means victory. Guess what? Yah said that one of the titles of the Son of Man is called your Nitzach, your victory. What? So one of the principles or the foundations of Messiah is called the victory. Wait a minute. The Hod, the splendor, the majesty, for yours is the glory. The Hod means splendor and majesty. Where is this coming from? Yesod means foundation. The foundation that you got to build your whole house on, or how about the soil that Yah will plant your tree? And when you walk through these paths, right? These paths, the kingdom will the Malkut, yours is the kingdom that's going to manifest in the lower worlds. So above, everlasting, your crown, so below. Let your kingdom come, your Malkut, Yabo. Let your will be done on the earth, the lower, lesser plane, manifest the world of Asiyah, right? As it is in the heavens. the eternal, infinite existence. When man gets their crown, we are what? Have manifested the Makuto Leolam Va'ed. That's the principle. That's what it is. Black and white, y'all. Ain't no snake on there. Ain't no chakras. There's no colors. They adding that to it. What else they putting on it? There's no lotus flower. When I say, I'm sorry, this geometric shape, aside from the principles, right, actually is a formula for something. Now, I missed it. I'm going to bring it back up. I'm going to show you what the formula is. And it is connected to the two-dimensional six-pointed star. That means if the six-pointed star is only two-dimensional, when you bring it in the third and the fourth dimension of existence, it's not really 6 points. I'm not going to go into that right now. Disclaimer, I do not practice. I do not teach. When I teach to do anything, nothing to do. I don't even wear the Star of David. If I wore it, oh well, I can defend it. Enchant, use any language, gematria, repetitions of angels for prayers, meditation or manifestation, or science of faith. I do Torah. All right, I do Torah. All right, hold on, I'm gonna be right back. So once again, let me disclaim. When Yehoshua came, the game changed. That's all I believe in. And Torah, which he teaches. And I'm going to prove that there is a difference between Kabbalah Zechanim, which Yehoshua taught against, and it was very specified. He did not call it witchcraft, though. And Kabbalah Torah, or the tree of life, which I just proved in the Bible. But I want y'all to remember, y'all may not know Hebrew, but look at the Hebrew. Keter, Bina, Hakma, Da'at, Chesed, Gibura, Tiferet, Nitzach, Hod, Yisod, and Malkut. Disclaimer, I do not practice to teach, enchant, or use any language, gematria, repetitions, or angels for prayer, meditation, manifestation, or science of faith. Let Yah's will be done on earth. Let his kingdom come on earth as it is in the heavens. All right. So let me go back again. And I just showed you that these were fundamental foundations that Yah said we should get to have the knowledge of Yah. And it's called the tree of life. That it starts with wisdom. All that you get some understanding and get knowledge, right? So we left with these principles here, right? I don't care what the Kabbalistic Zohar people say. I never read it. I don't care. I know what Torah says. We got Giburah, Chesed, Tiferet, Nesach, Chod, Yisad, Malkut. Once again, that means the beauty. It also is another name for the splendor or the glory. The Hod is also splendor and majesty, victory, foundation, and the kingdom. I just read to you part of what Messiah was saying in prayer. He actually was reciting part of a prayer that David recited. Watch what it is. Okay. Right? So I just read in Matthew 6, it says, for yours is the kingdom, the power and the glory forever, right? And he started off with, where am I? Our Father who is in heaven, may your name be kept holy. Let your kingdom come and let your will be done. That word done is asiyah, asa, in the heaven, as in the heavens, in the Ayin Sof, so on earth, right? On earth. Where did Yehoshua get this prayer from? Let's see. Let's go to 1 Chronicles 29, right? David prayer of praise. Therefore, David blessed Yahweh. That's Baruch atah Yahweh. That's not Jewish. Therefore, David blessed Yahweh. Baruch atah Yahweh. That's how you make his name holy. Bless his name before all the assembly. And David said, you are blessed, Yahweh. Yivarecha Yahweh. The Elohim of Israel, our Father, forever and ever. Yours, Yahweh, is the greatness, the power, the glory, the victory, and the majesty. Guess what he just read? Some of the Sephiroth. For all that is in the heavens, right? The heavens is what? The Ein Sof. And in the earth is yours. Yours is the kingdom, Malkut, Yahweh, and you are exalted above all. Both riches and honor come from you, and the rule over all is in your hand, is power and might. And it is in your hand to make great and to give strength to all. Now, therefore, our Elohim, we thank you, Hodule Yahweh, and praise your glorious name. Hallelujah. Okay, let's see it in the Hebrew, y'all. Y'all like this, right? Interlinear, right? Okay. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Y'all don't read Hebrew, but go back into the Hebrew. I'm going to pick out the words to show you what he just said, right? Baruch atah Yahweh Elohei Yisrael Avenu Me'olam, forever the worlds, right? That's how they break this down, these paths that are from the Olam, the worlds, Ad Olam, to the worlds, right? Lacha Yahweh ha-gedula is great. Veha-gibura. Veha-teferet. Veha-nitzach. Veha-chod. What? You mean that if somebody says, what did we see? 1, 2, 3, 4. I just showed you the first 3. Now I showed you 4 in a prayer. You mean if I say the prayer of David, this one, I'm doing witchcraft in Kabbalah? That's the tree of the serpent, Jedi, mind trick, liar, devil. Let me read it again, y'all. L'cha Yahweh. Baruch atah Yahweh, who's in the heavens. Gidulah, ha-gidulah is another one of the attributes. You are the greatness, high in the heavens. Ha-gibura, they translated as power. That's what Messiah just said. It's not power, it's ha-gibura. Ha-teferet, the glory. Ha-nitzach, the victory. Ha-hod, the majesty. What? Jediah is blaspheming the Torah. Ki chol beshamayim, everything that's in the heavens, be'aretz, on the earth, lacha Yahweh is yours. Hal mal melecha, your kingdom, right? The kingdom, but his kingdom is malkut. It comes from the word malkut. What? Over all is lerosh, as the head, the crown. What's on his head? Yahushua is coming with a keter from what? The heavens above to what? He went to prepare a place for us and bring our crowns down. For he, what? Where they get this from? Right? Ha'asher, right? The riches, ha'kavod, the honor, right? It's from you. It's from before you. Wa'ata moshal, you will reign bechol biyadecha. All that's in your hands. The koach, power, hagibura, Wait a minute. Didn't Jediah just teach this young man to say Hagibura? Okay, let me find that. I gotta find that, but let me finish, right? Is on your hand to make great, Chazak, strong to all. Therefore, Elohim, Mudim, Hodule Yahweh, Anahnu, we Lecha, praise, right? Mehalelim, praise from Hallelujah, your name, Ha Tifreteka, your glorious name. That's the tree of life. All right. Was y'all clear on that? Now, if I show you that Jediah just prayed a prayer, reciting a few of those foundations, then what he doing? Oh, he thought by saying them in Hebrew, he was going to have a more powerful prayer. All right. Let me show you something else. The prayer that Yahushua was saying, that wasn't even all that he was saying. He wasn't saying just repeat this like this. It came from a whole prayer. After you say that, then you what? Ask for forgiveness. And you got to ask for Yah's will. Not for the blessings of the kingdom of heaven, your crown. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Bless the name of Yahweh, the one who's in the heavens. Your will be done. Then you ask for forgiveness. True indeed. This is all of this. And then after you ask for forgiveness, forgive your debt as you forgive your debtors. Don't bring us into temptation and the evil one. For yours is the kingdom, Malkut, the power, Gibura, where her glory, her hod, forever, amen. He only recited 3, but he's telling you, refer back to everything. And the Malkut, the kingdom, the kingdom. He already talked about mercy. Where is he invoking mercy? Forgive us as we forgive those our debts. Mercy. Chesed. Leolam va'ed, your mercy endures forever.
Kabbalah. What is this? Do you know about anything about any of this stuff?
I don't.
Good. That's good. This is this esoteric or the secret or the occultic symbol for Kabbalah. This here. You know what this is called? The tree.
Oh, wow. Sorry. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim hath said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it.
Nor touch it,
lest ye die.
lest you die. What was the tree in the midst of the garden you're talking about? The tree of knowledge. So let's do this. Let's do one better. Let's type Kabbalah tree. We have so-called Hebrews teaching this in Israel now. We have so-called Hebrews teaching this in Israel now. The Kabbalah tree. Why do they do this? Because they think they're going to learn something. What are they going to learn? Death. What are they going to learn? Evil. So this is the tree of knowledge of good and evil, but because they know that is, they don't want to just say that, so they call it the tree of life. You think you can eat from this and get life? This is witchcraft. This is Jewish mysticism, Kabbalah.
Let's play a game. This is witchcraft, and there's no fruit in this that you can eat and not taste death. So we're going to play a game. Can you read Can you hear? If the answer is yes, let's continue on. Okay, then let's play. Match the word that you hear to the fruit, the sapphire, or one of the nodes on this tree of Satan that Jediah is saying is witchcraft. Okay, let's go and see how you did.
Chakma,
wisdom,
Da,
knowledge,
Bina.
understanding.
Amen.
If you said Hakma, Bina, Da'at, you're correct. Very good.
Taylor nu Chakma Da'at Ubina.
Give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding.
If you said Hakma, Bina, Da'at, you're correct. Very good.
Lata'am Ha'emet.
To taste the truth.
Came. To taste is also the same word to discern. To be able to discern, you must be able to have different tastes, know the taste of different things.
Very good, guys. Now we're going to play another game. Since some of us don't really know Hebrew, and sometimes when we are weak or speaking the weak language, we'll say the prayer in English. So now, can you read? Okay, let's play match the English word to the evil Hebrew word, the fruit or the safer or the node of the tree of Satan.
For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever.
Great, guys. Let's see how you did. If you matched the kingdom to Malkut, you are correct. If you match the power to Geburah, you are correct. And if you have matched the glory to Tiferet, you are correct.
Evil, for thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever and ever.
Great, guys. Let's see how you did. If you matched the kingdom to Malkut, you are correct. If you match the power to Geburah, you are correct. And if you have matched the glory to Tiferet, you are correct. Good job, guys. Now, to make sure that you're correct, we have the answer book on Jediah's page. You can find the prayer in Hebrew and match it up to make sure you're correct. Nice playing with you guys. Bye. Till the next time. All right, guys, we've finished the game. Let's add up how many fruits of the evil Satan death tree did he eat? Let's see if you can count. 1, Hakma. 2, Bina. 3, Da'at. 4, Malkut. 5, Geburah. And 6, Tiferet. That is 6 fruits, the number of Satan. Perfection in his death. Wonderful, masterful witchcraft. All right, so let me go back to something else that I wanted to show you. The tree of life, as in Kabbalah. Okay, the tree of life is a diagram used in various mystical traditions. It's not just Kabbalah. It usually consists of 10 nodes. This is what she read. Nodes, no, these are these are principles that I just read in Torah, symbolizing different archetypes. Let's see, archetype. The concept of an archetype appears in areas relating to behavior, historical psychology, the mindset, and the literary analysis. An archetype can be a statement, pattern of behavior, prototype, first, form, or a main model that others' statements or pattern after, right? This is the prototype, the pattern, the behavior, the form, the model, or the statement that Yah has declared about himself. Right? Now, let's keep going. In 22 lines connecting the nodes are often arranged into 3 columns to represent that they belong to a common category. A category, and I just showed you how those categories are broken up. The Yesod represents the earth. Malkut is the kingdom manifested on the earth once we go through these paths that Yah sent us through, right? So by his word, not Sechel. Let's see. The nodes usually represent encompassing aspects of existence, Elohim and the human psyche. The lines usually represent the relationship between the concepts ascribed to the spheres, or a symbolic description of the requirements to go from one sphere to another. Yah talks about this, how we got to go through the paths of righteousness, right? The nodes are also associated with deities. That's a lie. That's a lie. No deities. This is all Torah, right? Angels. That's a lie. They are not, so when he says angels, what is he talking about? The angel of Yahweh. In the Zohar, when it talks about the angel, it's saying angel of Yahweh, right? But it's not angels. There's nothing else connected to this but Yahweh. Celestial bodies. What celestial body? Nothing but Yahweh. Values of morality. That's right. That's true. Single colors. And that's not true, but there's 7 colors or combinations of them. Jedi teaches colors and spectrums, right? And combinations of them and specific numbers. That would be numerology or math. But I don't teach this, do I? But I did explain, and I'm going to prove it when I get to the name, that everybody has tapped into what? A mathematical equation of the tree of life, trying to what? Harness Yah's power. Are some of them successful? Yes. Is it eternal power? No. Are they looking for that eternal power? Yes. Did they discover the mathematical equation for it? I'm going to prove that. Yes, they did. They haven't created it yet. They're trying to. Guess what the equation is? This. Because when they figured out this mathematical equation, it's not gematria, it's not numerology. It's a mathematical equation based on geometry. They found out the number value of this geometric shape that is forever. That Fibonacci sequence touches it and all of that, right? But they, watch this. I'm gonna tell you how to use it for trying to tap into the iron soul, eternal power of the tree of life. Obviously, when we was at Babylon, whatever they was building, what was they building off of? The tree of life. So it had to be some kind of knowledge and equation, because y'all said, oh my goodness, they about to reach to heaven. And if they get in, they are going to do what? Have eternal life while they are still in what? Corruption. So yes, They have been trying to tap into the tree of life. They did not use witchcraft to build the Tower of Babel. They used Yah's knowledge. He said they're going to reach the tree of life, eternity. I gotta confuse their what? Languages. Right? Because they were going to reach heaven and get to that tree, eternal iron salt. They were going to get to that crown by using this, whatever they was building, y'all, whatever they was building. And they trying to build it to this day. Watch this. Okay. And I'm going to prove it in my lesson, y'all, that they found the equation. You could use it in anything, any materialism, and you use this equation, you're going to find eternal building blocks that never end, right? Where was I, right? The columns are usually symbolized as pillars. These pillars usually represent different kinds of values, right? But moralities, electric charges. What? I told you that I took a class when y'all started revealing to me, not Zohar. He didn't reveal to me Kabbalah. I didn't study none of these things. I knew Torah, and I knew that my father had explained some of these morals, values. And I understood how the Jews try to use it for power from gematria and numerology. I never believed in that, and I don't. That's not it, right? But when I started to learn construction, and I learned how to weld, and I had to learn about fire and certain heats and arc sparks, and I did electrical one and two, that I learned about ohms and transistors and transmitters and the calculation of electrons, volts, watts, electrical charges. I learned this. They use this science in everything in this world that they build, y'all. They use it. This is what I consider the earth and the manifestation of how Satan has built his work off of what knowledge? Yah's knowledge, right? Electrical charges. Didn't I teach y'all that they trying to tap into the energy, the power? And guess what? They found it. That's right. They found it. I'm going to prove that they found it. The devil found it or regave it to them. It's not witchcraft. What it is, though, is evil because they refuse to what? Walk by the values of it, the morals of it, the wisdom of Torah of it, and they want just the power of it. Right? That's not gematria, y'all, and that's not numerology. That's nipple sucking men like Jediah talking about 22 letters of the Hebrews in the menorah. They don't even understand what the menorah is about, right? And types of ceremonial magic. So they use it for that. But it's not that. It is usually referred to as the Kabbalistic tree of life in order to distinguish it from other concepts with the same name. So they got other things called the tree of life. The Jewish Kabbalah, the nodes are called Sephiroth. The diagram, the word Sephiroth comes from the word sapphire, which is supposed to be what Yahushua saw. What Moshe saw when he went up to the mountain. He used the word sapphire, right? The diagram is also used by Christian Kabbalah, Hermetic Kabbalah, and Theosophy. I think I read this. The diagram is believed to be derivative from the flower of life, meaning it's only part of the petal. It's not the whole tree. This is only a part of it. And it's an equation, right? Watch the flower, the overlapping circles grid in a geometric pattern of repeating, overlapping circles of an equal radius in two-dimensional space. Commonly, designs are based on circles centered on triangles or on the square lattice pattern and points. All mathematics that builds anything is based on this equation. I went to construction. And I had to learn some of these geometric equations, and it was like amazing. Yehoshua did not speak against this. He didn't. What did he speak against? He said, the Masons have rejected the cornerstone, the values that I teach. They are building with my knowledge. They have tapped into the power, but they reject the values that I walk by, the cornerstone that is straight. A stone, y'all. It's not Kabbalah. All right, y'all. Oh, I could do so much more, but this has been long. Yay! Look at the witch. Selling on Shabbat. Man, all right now. So I'm going to read you what this Carlos Young read again. And I agree, I'm going to put check up for him. Right? Where did the Hebrew version of the writing of the apostles come from? Valid question. Were they not written in Greek originally? No, they weren't. I know that they were written in Hebrew. The problem with trying to go back to the Hebrew now and not consider the Greek is that you will take things there's two Hebrew manuscripts floating out there. One that they only found Matthew's, according to my knowledge, they only found Matthew's in its original Hebrew text. It's hard to find. I have it. It's in my storage right now. Can't find it online. If you go online, or the book that Jediah has printed, what Jediah has is this one. This one. And this one is not the original Hebrew text. It is the Hebrew text that was translated from the Greek Septuagint, from the Aramaic, from the Hebrew. Jediah does not have the original text in Hebrew, right? Okay. Also, in the idea that one creates with words not in line with scriptures, absolutely, is what you speak though. You got to define it. I don't see how that is witchcraft. It is not witchcraft. Just because they say it don't mean that they had any power to do anything. Guess how we know this? Balaam said everything he needed to say in Yahweh's name and nothing happened. Do the scriptures not say that the power of life and death are in the tongue? Yes, because out of your heart flows the issue, out of your mouth flows the issues of your heart. So I teach that power is activated by the heart. Did the Most High not create the world with his word? Yes, and we're supposed to repeat his words. And guess what? He recited that tree that you said was of Satan, and it's not, it's Torah. It feels like a logical leap. Logical is the word for intelligent. Intellect. Logical, right, is by 5 senses. You took a logical leap. Intellectual, intelligent leap is called sechel. That was Satan. Satan is also considered a frog, a demon speaking. To call that witchcraft. Finally, what is the definitive difference between witchcraft, magic, and miracles? He does not know because all he's been studying is witchcraft. I think one needs a working definition of the difference to really have a discussion on this. Carlos, I'm going to send you my video. The miracles that Messiah performed were accused of coming from Beelzebub. Were they not? By the same Pharisees you are saying are magicians. So if the Pharisees basically accused Messiah of using the power of the devil, and Messiah said that we would do greater things than he, then where is the line? He has none. He's mixing it all up, and he's guilty of it himself. If you, Jediah, raised the man from the dead by just extending your arm, would people not call that magic? Yes, they would. But if he tried it and it didn't succeed, we would call that a false prophet or necromancy, and that's what Jediah did. It seems like this discussion is in dire need of some good definitions. It is. If he defines it, then he is going to look stupid. and less accusation. That's all it is. It's an accusation. The proofs in this video are, from my point of view, very slick. Slick means satanic, wormy, squirmy, snake-like, but hardly definitive. Satan spoke of a tree, Eve ate from a tree, and Kabbalah has a tree in its cosmology. So they are the same? No, they are not. That's a stretch, family. A stretch means it's perverse. You perverted the word. I'd really like to know the truth of the matter, but this video certainly isn't proving anything either way. I gave him my thumbs up. All right, y'all. On that note, oh my goodness, this was long. I was trying to keep this an hour. I'm going to say, see you for the next time for my fact check on this fat neck. Shavuot, everybody.
We stay in the holy place. How do we get to the holy place? What comes before the most holy place?
The incense.
The incense. What's the incense?
Prayers.
The prayer. We need the prayers to break through in order to reach the throne of Yah, the most holy place. And we need to be able to get up in the middle of the night and make this offering of incense so that we can be saved under his wings.